my life. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to shit. You know what? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You gotta do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But you got, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedom. But I happen to take the vaccine. It's crazy. It's crazy. I've never seen anything so stupid in my life. Woke. You know what woke means? It means you're a loser. Woke. Everything woke turns to shit.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio. This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, May 17th, 2023. Big news today, the royal family, the rumor that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle just escaped death after a paparazzi chase, of course, reminding of Harry's mother, Diana, who reportedly died in Paris, France after being chased by paparazzi in a car back on August 31st, 97. Again, you're listening to GematriaEffectNews. You learn the simple practice of coding numbers into words, which is gematria. You see through the rituals day after day. Princess Diana's car crash was August 31st, the 243rd day of the year. The scare for Harry and Meghan came exactly 243 days after Harry's birthday. And recall when Diana died August 31st, after rumors of the affair and the coming, the divorce, just all that. They said it was a real shame to the royal family what was going on when Diana died in the car crash. But remember, from the Queen's birthday, April 21st, to Diana's death, August 31st, was 132 days later. In Gematria, Princess Diana equals 132. Big number with the royal family. The word royal alone is 71. Diana's birthday was 7-1. The Queen was 71 years old at the time, reportedly disgraced by Diana. And again, she was married to Charles, who's now the king. And this parallel to history's past. It happens shortly after his coronation, which was by the numbers, on 5-6 after the last king of England died at age 56, and in Gematria, royal family equals 56, like coronation. Anyhow, news by the numbers all day, every day, from the royal family to what's going on here with the U.S. federal government and the Supreme Court upholding the right for Illinois to have an assault weapons ban, which sets a precedent for other states who've had assault weapons bans recently, including this state, Washington State. With regards to the Supreme Court news today, on May 17th, again, upholding the Illinois ban. It's Wednesday. It's Mercuralia, or today's the day of the week named after Mercury, Wednesday, and this is the week of Mercuralia. Mercuralia, the celebration of Mercury's every May 15th, which fell on Monday this year. Again, go back and look at the shooting on Monday in New Mexico. On that same day, we got a story of a congressman, Connolly, nearly being beaten to death with a baseball bat. The attack was on his staffer, though. They were going for the congressman, but the staffer interfered. You had that story on Mercuralia, and you also had the Washington Nationals win the first baseball game of that day. You know, an attack with a baseball bat, and the first game of the day is the Nationals with a big win, 10-3. The name of the congressman, his name in Gematria was 103, like Mercury's 103, like assault weapons ban's 103. The attack in New Mexico on Mercuralia this Monday, it was exactly 228 weeks after the governor took office, and Farmington, New Mexico, where the attack happened, equals 228 in Gematria, like United States of America. And now, right after the Mercuralia attack, on the day of the week named after Mercury, the Supreme Court sets this precedent on the day leaving 228 days left in the year. And again, whenever the government has a big ritual, as we talk about, there's always a big 47 in it. And funny enough, in Gematria, Mercuralia equals 47. The congressman who was attacked that day, it was his 47th day of his age. Again, New Mexico's the 47th state in order of statehood. That's where Roswell happened in 47. So you have all these 47s. Big government number, again, if you're new here, in Gematria, government equals 47, like authority, like Republican, like Democrat, like president, like White House, like the letters DC themselves. Again, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. Run the alphabetic order in reverse, the letters DC become 47. Another big 47 is Trump. The name Trump is 47 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. The man who was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel the night of the rigged selection back in 2016, and the man who said in 2020 he'd done more in 47 months than Biden had done in 47 years. Of course, Biden was the 47th vice president who took office for the first time as VP when Obama was 47 years old. Again, numbers. These numbers are so persistent. Another big country with the 47 connection is France, where Diana supposedly died. And DC was laid out by the French Freemason L'Enfant. But again, you study these numbers where they go back to the secret societies, Freemasonry, the Jesuits, etc. The Masons and the Jesuits have big history in Paris, France. The Jesuits were created there. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry came to power there. Of course, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry was created by the Jesuits. But anyway, day after day, these rituals are being performed to distract the mind's eye of the masses. Again, we're constantly looking at things like the royal family, Donald Trump, whatever else, they're throwing at us. And, day by day passes, and you can see if you're actually paying if you're actually paying attention to what's happening in the world and not caught up in the narratives that are being spoon-fed to us each day and the things they want us to look at. If you just look at what's happening in the world, you see the agenda, and you see how the agenda is much bigger than politics. Politics is part of the distraction. It doesn't matter what party's in there. The agenda persists. It's not one party's fault. It's both parties' fault. It's undeniable. But yeah, I just, I'm wondering, are we going to see it happen in our lifetime where the American people snap out of the coma, stop regurgitating what they see in the news, stop believing in the politricks? Again, so many people right now, they're caught up in, they're a Christian, that they're a Republican voting Christian. They love Donald Trump. They're caught up in all these ideas and groups, and they think they're doing the right thing, but really, they're helping sell the country down the river because they're remaining ignorant, and they're all caught up in their ego, and they don't have enough information to have as big of opinions as they do about certain things. Again, when I was just down in California, one of the people stuck in my head is the Christian woman screaming at me who was a Trump supporter, screaming all this stuff at me because somehow she misunderstood. She thought I was like some Biden person based on something when she was walking by that she heard me say. And I couldn't even get her to listen. She was just in this hysterical mania, spewing all this stuff where I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I'm just thinking, I couldn't get a word in with this woman. And she's screaming about how she's a Christian and a Trump supporter. It's like, well, you probably wouldn't be a Trump supporter as a Christian if you realize MAGA is more than just Make America Great Again. Again, MAGA is the highest degree of the Satanic Church, and the first tenet of the Satanism is to serve yourself, fulfill your ego. Donald Trump, Mr. Ego, Mr. Nonstop Bribery. But anyway, Trump, these rituals, understanding this knowledge. What I get tired of hearing is every time Trump's on TV, he's talking about the globalists, these globalists. It's like, okay, he's speaking against the globalists when he's clearly one of them? How are people falling for this? It's amazing how almost nobody notices certain things. They didn't make a big deal about where Donald Trump was. Even though this guy's in the news every single day, go back and check when he was in Switzerland shaking hands with Klaus Schwab on the same day that coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S. And again, if you don't know who Klaus Schwab is, he's the main sponsor of Event 201, the coronavirus pandemic simulation 1 month before the outbreak in Wuhan, China. And it just happened to take place the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China. World Games that were started by the Jesuit Order, which Klaus Schwab's a member of, which Trump's a member of, which Biden's a member of. But there was very little press for the fact that Trump was in Switzerland, the land of the World Health Organization, the land of the World Economic Forum, the land of all the big banks where he signed off on the trillions of debt that would be paid for by the taxpayers. Like, all of that's overlooked. Trump never brings that up. His base never questions him about it. It's like nobody even knows that it happened. And what's funny is when you get with these Trump people and you can actually get them to listen to that, you can see how they get like this uncomfortable thing. Like they don't want to admit that maybe Trump is one of them. But that's what everybody needs to know who's... And this isn't just an attack on Trump people. It's all these political parties have their people fooled. The fooling needs to end. The shenanigans need to end. People need to have the knowledge to see through who these people are. Again, this is how powerful the ritual was the day Trump was in Switzerland shaking hands with Klaus Schwab on the exact same day the news media confirmed that coronavirus was in the U.S. And then remember, Trump went along with the World Health Organization's declaration of a pandemic. He waited 2 days later to declare it on a symbolic day, Friday the 13th. And again, you study all the numbers, you just see through all the layers of it. But again, I just want to remind people by the way, also, besides just listening to this radio program tonight, besides just, watching the YouTube videos I put out, again, this is a call to action for more people to absorb what I'm saying and get out and speak the same thing to all of the Trump crowd. All of the people who are under this illusion, this spell, whatever it is, of Trump and people who are under the spell of the Democratic Party and liberals. It's going on both sides of the aisle. But again, more people have to get out this knowledge. People have to be... in the next year and a half, I hope what we achieve as a community is people organizing, networking, using, for example, the website I pay for every month, freetofindtruth.com, great website for truth seekers to organize, network, share information, not have fear of censorship, but people getting out and getting to these local rallies and engaging with the people there and trying to get them out of the Trump spell, the politics spell, as long as everybody keeps marching to the polls every so many years and voting for our enslavement and for these people to do what they do to us. Trump really makes me sick, the things he says, talking about the globalists and people not seeing through it. This guy's arguably one of the biggest globalists there ever was. He went with the globalist pandemic, the globalist lockdowns, the globalist bailouts. These things were all massive. And then he gets to go everywhere and just go, oh yeah, man, get me in there to stop the globalists. It's like, it never got more global than when you were president. But again, the day that he was at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, and by the way, I said about all those 47s, go look at his notes. Go look at his speech notes from the day that he spoke there. He began speaking at 11:47 local time sharp in the morning, 47 minutes after the hour. Again, Trump 47, President 47, White House 47, Government 47, Authority 47, Republican 47, Democrat 47. Remember, he was a lifelong Democrat until Obama took office at age 47, then he flipped. But anyway, January 21st was the 222nd day of Trump's age. 222, easy number to remember. 222, all twos. 3-digit number, all twos. In Gematria, World Economic Forum equals 222. Wuhan coronavirus 222. Order out of chaos. That's the Jesuit Masonic motto. 222. New York, New York, 222. Remember from 9/11, Trump was involved with the day of 9/11. He had his insurance building in the tower, and he talked on TV, and he had some questions that day. But from 9/11 to the day the pandemic was declared, March 11, 2020, exactly 222 months. And again, just huge world-shaping events that changed the world as we knew it. 9/11 really brought in the surveillance state. You're not protected from Big Brother peering into your life anymore because now it's the post-9/11 era and terrorists could be anywhere at any moment. And then it's COVID. It's the worst germs there ever were. They took out all the 80-year-olds in the nursing home, don't you remember? So we had to lock down. Gavin Newsom was looking like Slick Willie. Brought out all the fear. Big Jesuit Gavin. 56% of you are going to die in 8 weeks. No, he didn't say die. He said 56% of you will have coronavirus in 8 weeks, but everyone felt like they were going to die. Oh my God, everybody's going to die. Tom Hanks, born in 56. Just if you guys remember, all the 56s, including Trump declaring the pandemic on Friday the 13th, 2020, a date with 56 numerology, 56 years after his Jesuit education began. His other Jesuit sidekick, Anthony Fauci, his other 56 Jesuit sidekick who also went to Fordham like Trump, the Jesuit school, the 56th governor of New York, Cuomo, and so on and so forth. But again, we have to get out. What I'm going to do, you guys, again, I'm working on a really short book. I'm trying to perfect it now with Kobe. I'm seeing how far the Lakers are going to go in these playoffs because, again, I want it to be as current and up to the moment as possible, but we'll get it out with laser speed for everyone who wants to help us wake up people through the Kobe thing on again, Kobe Bryant Day is coming up. Kobe's death is all part of this same thing we're talking about. Dead at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age while traveling from Catholic Mass in a huge Jesuit ritual. Buried in Corona del Mar at the start of coronavirus. And rumors of him fighting a pharmaceutical battle over his Black Mamba branding when Black Mamba venom's known for stopping people's hearts. And just think about what's happened in the last 3 years. But again, short book on Kobe's death, but also a short book for engaging with the Trump people. And there's, again, you guys, it's hard for me to narrow it down on like the top 10 Trump things to show people. And it might not even end up being top 10. It might just be like 5 undeniable things about Trump that prove he's a globalist. And maybe that's what it is. Again, I want to get these very short books that are inexpensive to mass print and distribute so people can hand them out. And again, for the next year and a half, engage, because the thing about Trump is he brings out a lot of people. We're trying to engage with a lot of people. Trump brings out a lot of people. If all over the nation we can be engaging with a lot of people over a year and a half time period, getting out this, again, just like how the media gets out the same talking points and gets everybody buzzing with the same things, if we got the same 5 examples of definitive proof of what a globalist Trump is, and this is circulating, more people are seeing this guide and learning this information and then just like tuning in and learning what also is happening in the present. But yeah, what they did with his ex-wife last year, just blatant Jesuit ritual, the thing with the World Economic Forum, and then I'll pick what the next 3 are. It's hard. It's like there's a list of 1,000 and you got to say, okay, which of these are the top 5? But yeah, it just, this guy and the fact that he's still fooling people. I mean, listen to him. Anytime this guy talks, he's talking about how we got to stop the globalists. It's like, okay, we got to stop the globalists. Seriously, like, in your, some of you are older than me. In your lifetime, what president has been more globalist? And it's not to say there haven't been other ones. The Clinton and you know, the trade deals and many others. I mean, but you know what they all have in common? They're all Jesuits. All of these guys are Jesuit educated. Every last one of them. Trump versus the Clintons, the battle of the Jesuit families. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what's to come. If you guys want to call in tonight and let me know what you think are in the top 5 Trump examples to wake people up, that would be a great call tonight. The number's 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. I guess just because it's current and right now, I did do a video on it today, but it has not been talked about on Truth Frequency Radio. The Supreme Court allowing the assault weapons ban of Illinois to pass. Again, if you're new here, gematria is very simple. It's the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. It's also running the alphabetic order in reverse, meaning Z is 1, back to A is 26. You can also do both orders with numerology. But just to make a point, Washington, D.C. has gematria of 137 and 187. 137, 187. First 137. Other words equaling 137. Government, authority, White House. All 137. It's the 33rd prime number, special number to Masonry. D.C. is known as the Masonic City, named after the Freemason George Washington. That's why the headquarters there for Masonry has 33 columns on the outside that are each 33 feet tall. But today, the 137th day of the year, again, also, Washington, D.C., 137 forwards, 187 in reverse. With regards to 187, Joe Biden, when he came into office, he said there would be gun reform. Today, at the federal level, Supreme Court participating with Joe Biden's agenda today, exactly 187 days before Joe's upcoming November 20th birthday. And 187 is very big to the Society of Jesus, who's been in D.C. for longer than the federal government. The Jesuits, the Society of Jesus, have been in D.C. for longer than the feds. Society of Jesus equals 187. Anthony Fauci, who's a Jesuit, 187, like Washington, D.C. George Washington's another 187. But today is the 187th day of Arturo Sosa's age. He's the leader of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order. The Black Pope, as the Superior General is referred to. And as we've been pointing out in all of these mass shootings over the years, the Jesuit fingerprints all over them. And now this major step, again today, at further infringements on the Second Amendment by the code, again answering who's doing this. And then remember, today also leaves 228 days left in the year. United States of America, 228. This sets national precedent. And remember, the last shooting before this was the one in New Mexico, Farmington, New Mexico, which equals 228, exactly 228 weeks after that state governor took office. And it was on Mercuralia, and now this comes on Wednesday, the day of the week named after Mercury. Mercury equals 103, assault weapons ban 103, the congressman who got beat down with the baseball bat on Mercuralia, his name 103, the Washington Nationals, the baseball team in D.C. 110-3 that day. And remember, I was just about how in the state of Washington, where I live, we just became the 10th state to have an assault weapons ban. And the first reading of the bill here for the assault weapons ban in the state was the 10th day of the 3rd month, 10/3. Keep in mind, Jesuits also equals 103. But, again, I mean, the same order, the Jesuits. John Roberts, who's the head of the court right now, Jesuit. Look at how many Jesuits are on the history of the Supreme Court. Lots in that city. But again, this is the order that's been warned about for centuries about how they like to control populaces, how politically involved they are. They've been warned about as being a gang of killers. People say the Jesuits invented the idea of the ends justifies the means, do whatever it takes to achieve the goal, even if that involves murder, lie, whatever. Again, I mean, the way I feel is for a long time we've identified who the domestic enemy is here, who's foreign and domestic, truly. And there's just been a very low response from the populace of a nation of hundreds of millions who care to do anything about it. And that's got to change. There's got to be way more people who are willing to take more action to help stop this agenda. Because you guys, again, the surveillance state is here. The digital dollar is literally here. They're going to roll it out first optional on July 1st. You know, the nonstop propaganda here, the big tech takeovers here, the censorship is over here. All of these things are becoming a greater reality and a greater threat. And, the response from the average American adult who even sees it is, well, I see it, but I'm not willing to do much more other than, watch YouTube videos about it or maybe share it on my social media. You guys, we all have to start doing more. More people have to get out, network, organize, speak out. Again, to get the vision of, we got a group of truth seekers in every major city in America. Everywhere Trump goes, Biden, other political rallies, we got truth seekers getting out there trying to wake people up to what's really going on in politics. again, the questions we're bringing are, should we even be voting? Are we voting in a rigged, pre-planned production? And if it's not that, even these two candidates that we always get fed, are there really any difference outside of the rhetoric? I mean, how empty is the rhetoric? A Trump person should be able to realize, that the rhetoric is super empty. He's talking about the globalists like there's some enemy outside of him, not part of him, as he signed off on all the globalist agendas. And for any person who'd say, well, he had to do that because the pandemic came in and that was just, a worldwide scary thing. Again, that's where we break that all down and say, no, let's show you the definitive proof of how perfectly rolled out all of it was, synced up with the president and a bunch of these other Jesuit characters on the stage, from, again, Bill Gates to Biden to Trump to Fauci to the Cuomos to the Newsoms to the Klaus Schwabs and so on and so forth. So, yeah, and again, isn't it funny to just find out that it's the Society of Jesus that runs the whole thing? It makes sense. Almost every politician in the U.S. and this Christian nation, this Jesuit-controlled nation, this Society of Jesus-controlled nation, almost every politician's a Christian. They all got to put their hands on the Bible. It's all part of the big show. And we're trained in our culture that, he's a religious man, so that makes him a better person. He's more moral because he's religious. And all of us who were raised religious, who are good people but kind of fell away from the religion but kept the spirituality, we know the religion doesn't have anything to do with how good you are. A lot of frauds claim religion to make them look better than they are because it just has that cultural, appeal. Oh, he's a nice church-going guy. He's got to be a good guy. He goes to church. Remember after my neighbor ripped off my house on Sundays, he ripped off the house. He got a whole big sum of money that I wasn't allowed to put in the bank because of the business I was in. He's driving a brand new truck and driving by me on Sundays and honking and smirking at me, on the way to church. I guess, go to church and pray to Jesus that for forgiveness for robbing your neighbor. That's what my religion teaches me. I just come in here and ask for forgiveness. Going to the eternal afterlife. But, yeah, again, I mean, when are people going to realize that no orange, overgrown, what I always call him, Donald Trump is going to save us. When he was in last time, things got worse than ever. I mean, swallow that pill. A lot of presidents have been god-awful. Worst moment in American history in recent times, wasn't it going along with the pandemic from Switzerland that Trump marched along to? I'll be right back, Truth Seekers. Commercial break.
Asking is the beginning of receiving, so start the process. Here's number 2. Receiving is not the problem. Receiving is automatic. Failure to ask might be one of your major problems. I don't know. Check it out. Here's number 3. Receiving is like the ocean. There's plenty. It's like an ocean here. Success is not in short supply. It isn't rationed, and you stepped up to the window and it was all gone. No, no, no. It's like an ocean here. Now, if that's true, what's the problem? Well, some people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. Have you got the picture? See, what you want to do in view of the size of the ocean is trade your teaspoon for at least a bucket.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records. Remove negative energy attachments from your astral body and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
Travis Cook, America's Evil Genius, here to invite you to join us every Tuesday afternoon here on Truth Frequency Radio. No, on our show, you will not see a bunch of three-piece suits or a cocktail party, and you certainly won't see a bunch of inside the Beltway banter. But you will see eye-gouging, crotch-kicking, no-holds-barred political discussion, the likes of which you won't see anywhere else in media. America's Evil Genius. We come to you every Tuesday from the outskirts of war-torn St. Louis, Missouri, where there's always a good race riot or sex scandal just around the corner. Join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, at noon on the left coast right here on TFRlive.com. America's Evil Genius, Travis Cook, on TruthFrequencyRadio.com.
Our TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We're going to start taking your calls. Again, if you want to phone in tonight, the number is 213-233-3998. And going to try and look for new numbers tonight, numbers I'm not used to seeing week after week. I do appreciate all the veteran callers. I will be taking your calls as well. But if I see a phone number tonight that I'm not used to seeing, I'm going to jump to that call. It's new caller night. You get to cut in line. It's nice to hear new voices. And a number I don't recognize from Cincinnati, 513, you're on. You're on.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Zachary. My name is, I've called in before, but I haven't, this is my first time calling so far this year. You noticed the day that the king got coordinated, the color scheme that he had on his wardrobe, the day that he got coordinated.
The symbols on his wardrobe the day of his coronation, I haven't looked into it.
Yes, sir. He was wearing purple and yellow, and the symbolism behind it is, like King James is LeBron's nickname is King James, and also a lot of people don't know this. Years ago, meaning when Princess Diana was living back in the 90s. I remember a few years back, a story came out back in, I want to say around about 2015, 2016. A random story came out. Then they had a pet dog named James. But just to make a long story short, without going all over the world. Okay, the color scheme and the LeBron nickname is King James, and they're basically telling you that. I mean, they're telling you clear as day that LeBron is going to be he's going to win the championship this year. I mean, they're basically telling you that by him being coordinated, coordinated, and he's wearing the Lakers colors on his wardrobe while being coordinated, and they're telling you is they're telling you that LeBron is going to win the championship, and also it was a person that was standing aside King Charles, and he had on the Boston Celtics colors. He had on the white and green. It was a photo that I just seen on the day before yesterday, and he had on the Boston Celtics colors. And they're telling you that that's going to be the NBA Finals, right? That's going to be the finals. And I don't know when exactly how it's going to go, or it's going to end in 6 games, or it's going to end in 7 games. But I'm pretty sure for a fact that LeBron is going to win the finals. And a lot of people are saying that the Heat have a chance to make it into the finals. No, the reason they're saying that is because the remaining 4 teams is the same remaining 4 teams that was in the 2020 NBA bubble. But that's going to be the all I want to know is am I certified in my prediction so far? Am I kind of being 100%? Am I 100% in my thinking that that's going to be the NBA Finals next month?
Okay, yeah, purple and gold, colors of royalty. The Lakers, again, they wear them. If people missed it, on May 6th, the day of the King's coronation, King Charles III, again, the last king of England, dead at age 56. On that day, LeBron was playing his first home game for the Lakers in the series against the Warriors. Again, him and Steph born in the same hospital. The name Stephen or Stephen means crown. But that day, LeBron became 5-6 at home in the playoffs versus Curry in his career on 5-6. The Lakers star player who had a great game, who's from Louisville, that's where the Kentucky Derby is. The Kentucky Derby was on the same day as the coronation and also the day of the game. And Todd Pletcher was the favorite trainer. He had horses in post 5 and 6 on 5-6. He had 2 horses in the race in 5-6. One of the horses' names was Kings Barnes. But D'Angelo Russell, who was from Louisville, who's from there, who plays for the Lakers, he got his 56th career win with the Lakers on 5-6. And as we know in Gematria, when you spell out 3, it equals 56. He began the game with 3 threes. He was 3 for 3 from 3 to start the game on 5-6 as King Charles III is good and coronated. And Anthony Davis, who went to Kentucky, it was 56 days from his birthday. The horse race was in Louisville that day. Again, raising thoroughbreds for races, raising athletes for perfect rituals. They did so many 56s in that series, and I can't even keep them all straight. But again, that day, May 6th, there was so much 5-6. Nick Gilbert, the Cavs owner, who LeBron used to play for the Cavs. Again, those who fought for King Charles, Cavaliers. On that day, Nick Gilbert, the son of the Cavs owner, dies. The name Nick Gilbert in Gematria equals 56. Like Kentucky Derby, like Royal Family, like Coronation, like LA Lakers. Like how all these things went together so perfectly on 5-6. Of course, as we know, Society of Jesus, 56. The Jesuits, big number with them. You know, all-seeing eye, all these things controlling the mind's eye. So you had this mega ritual on 5-6. LeBron's 4-6 in the finals right now. He's trying to get to 5-6. Funny enough, his next NBA Finals game will be his 56th Finals game. But yeah, you got to ask. I mean, is all that a coincidence, or is that proof of a new world order and everything we're talking about? How they sync up news, sports, ritual, for it to all be so perfect. It shows that a lot of these guys were born and bred to be. Anthony Davis from Kentucky, where the race is. D'Angelo Russell. The thing we just realized about the Russell Trust, the Skull and Bones in sports, that was a big discovery we had just working on my channel this week. Huge thing with the Russell Trust of Skull and Bones and what's going on with the basketball series. And then it just started dawning on us how many athletes are named Russell. And remember, Bill Russell had the very Jesuit death last year on the last day of the Jesuit Ignatian year. The founder of the Russell Trust, his name is William Trust as well, just like Bill Russell or William Russell. So again, learning this knowledge, it shows you what secret societies are really running the show. You start to get answers of what? Yeah, that no wonder there's so many Russells. money from Russell Westbrook to Russell Wilson and so on and so forth. Again, these guys are being born and bred like thoroughbred horses. We're living out playing scripts clearly written decades in advance. And, we were just about how LeBron, he got his 26th playoff win with the Lakers. On the day that they had the coronation, the Lakers got their 26th home win over the Warriors in playoff history. On that same day, Nick Gilbert died at age 26. And the day before that, Lance Blanks of the NBA died at age 56. He was the 26th pick of the draft and died exactly 26 weeks after his anniversary of making his NBA debut. And again, the Lakers are getting a big 26th win that day. LeBron ends up getting his 26th win, winning the series. If they do play the Celtics equals 26 in Gematria. If LeBron won the finals, he'd have 26 finals wins. But the bigger 26 piece is the word crown. The word crown equals 26 like queen. And of course, the queen died. We have the new king, the coronation, the crown. Her death was 201 days after her COVID diagnosis. COVID began with event 201. Corona means crown. The coronavirus ends in the passing of the crown. We've been talking about how the NBA has been synced with coronavirus since March 11, 2020, and so on and so forth. So, anyway, did you want to add anything else in?
I know for I remember, sir. I remember you saying I think it was 2016 that it's quite possible that Nate Thurman could be the biological father of LeBron.
Indeed.
And now that I've done my research on it and kind of dug up some secrets, I am pretty aware now that I'm pretty for certain that is LeBron's father.
Yeah,
it's got to be. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. There's nothing. There's nothing that can show me. I mean, there's no proof that that's not his father. He has on the same genetic makeup, the same height. Pretty much have. If you were to put his mother and his father together, I'd probably say 20% his mom and 70% his. 20% his mom and 80% is his father. So I'm pretty sure 1,000,000% that is his father.
Indeed.
And,
again, for people who don't know, I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying it for longer than 2016. I've been talking about it since how I predicted the first Warriors-Cavs finals. Because, again, Nate Thurmond wore 42 for the Warriors and Cavs. In Gematria, LeBron James equals 42. As we know, big number in Black history. Warriors won the first meeting over the Cavs in the finals. Then the next year, the Cavs beat the Warriors on the real King James's birthday. LeBron scored 27 points in that 103rd game of the Cavs season, which is the 27th prime. And then 27 days later, Nate Thurmond dropped dead at age 74. Then in the 74th NBA season, Kobe would die and LeBron would get another championship. 74 is a whole nother number, but yeah, Nate Thurmond, again, I mean, there's at the very least, if Nate Thurmond's not LeBron's father, again, if they're breeding athletes, a lot of these guys are related to each other, and no doubt about it in my mind, at the very least, Nate Thurmond's a blood relative of LeBron James. And again, the two guys are born in the same hospital in Akron, Ohio, him and Steph Curry, and also Nate Thurmond. I mean, come on.
It could be possible that, not to be, this ain't really a long shot. I mean, this is not really too far-fetched. It could be possible that even LeBron and Steph Curry can be somehow related. Based on how many finals, based on how many finals they have had against one another, would that be crazy for me to say? Akron is pretty much a small community. It's just a small city. My people live right outside of Akron. They live between Akron. My people are from right outside of Cleveland. So I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard and what I've seen, that it's a possibility that they can be related as well. So got to be related some kind of way, or connected one. So that's.
Yeah, I got you, caller, and we're in agreement. I appreciate you calling in and letting your voice be heard and looking into things I've been talking about and reaching your own conclusions. And I think if anybody really looks into what we're talking about, they're going to start to wonder, is Nate Thurmond LeBron's father? It makes a lot of sense.
because I was kind of nervous. This one I'm kind of skipping over my words a little bit. It's my first time calling. I'll take that back. I remember I called a little before, previous to the call, maybe 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. So I have called this year. Just been a few months now.
Okay.
So I was kind of nervous. It's kind of.
Well, you sound great. You sound great for the next call, and I appreciate it, friend. And do call us back. And thank you for calling back tonight.
Thank you.
All right, you have a good night.
I appreciate it, my brother. Thank you very much.
Take care. You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Okay. So, just funny enough, the caller right next to him was also 513. I'm going to give them a shot, too. 513, probably also in the Cincinnati area.
Hey, Zach. It's Amanda. I called in once before also this year.
Okay. How are you doing?
So, I'm doing phenomenally well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you.
I'm really freaking happy that somebody else from Cincinnati called. I don't really follow the whole sports thing because I never got into it. I was like the girl who brought in a novel to read during the football party.
Sure. Good for
eat
you.
Food
Good
and
for
hang
you.
out with my friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did really get into it with my dad in the last couple of years of his life, and I took him to Lambeau Field. Those were really great memories, you know? So anyway, the reason I'm calling is because you kind of called out for the previous discussion regarding how can we encourage folks to take a deeper dive on Trump.
Right.
And I'm really emotionally attached to this discussion. I want to help in any way that I can because I voted for Trump twice. I also voted for Obama twice. Prior to that, I never voted. I used to kind of live out on the West Coast, and let me tell you a little background before I get into the Trump thing, because it'll all tie in, I promise. So I used to live in Bellingham and then Seattle. And in both of those cities, I really saw back in the 90s how folks could rally. And when we wanted something, by God, we fucking got it done. Pardon my language. GP was out there, Georgia Pacific. There was some whales beaching up in Bellingham Bay. And folks were not having it. Plain and simple. You got to go. And all it takes is the community to say, no, we're not going to do this. And they had to leave. And they had to pay a lot of fines. And they had to restore the bay. I also went in 99 in Seattle to the WTO demonstration, which, I think there was approximately 350,000 people down there of every creed you can imagine, talking about how these trade practices were going to decimate certain things. Everybody from Qigong practitioners were there. I don't know how it impacted Qigong, but it did. Sea turtle people, everything you can imagine. And it was a very peaceful demonstration to gather. The only other time I've seen 300,000 folks together is at Woodstock 99, and Seattle was way more peaceful. So, but it was painted, of course. There was one Gap store that was vandalized, and there was a group of anarchists down there, but that's all that was talked about in the media was the anarchists in the Gap store.
Funny, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Trump. I'm an ICU nurse. I worked in the #1 hospital in Cincinnati for a long time as a trauma nurse, and I'm probably putting myself out there a little bit much, but that's okay because I no longer am attached to corporate healthcare, which is sad for me because I'm really, really damn good at what I do. But I'm pivoting on that, and the reason is, and here's where we're going to call Trump out. You wanted globalist examples. Let's talk about PPE and ventilators.
Right.
Let's get to the basic stuff he was preaching early pandemic. I mean, every day on the news was ventilators and PPE. And I worked for a very wealthy, at the time, I left the trauma gig, and I was on a local agency contract in another Cincinnati hospital. And there was like this whole Cincinnati coalition going on where pretty much all the hospitals did the same exact thing. And I could have this talk for a while, just based on his decisions and how it trickled down and what he allowed the FDA, CDC, and the WHO to decide and mandate, and later on the Supreme Court, just really blew my freaking mind. Like, this can't be the guy I thought I was voting for, right? I was duped. So we were limited to 1 mask a week, and many of us were working 60 hours at least. I got a terrible case of uveitis, which I'd never even heard of before. It was awful. Wearing that same mask over and over again for 60 hours.
Sure. Gross.
And when you go into a COVID ICU room, you're in there maybe sometimes for an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time. It's so labor intensive and task intensive. So you're breathing through that mask quite a bit.
Sure.
Yeah. And so we were required to sign them out like they were gold, like they were some narcotic, like they were super valuable. And we were getting all these crazy secondhand, like, for shit masks out of third world countries, God knows where. Like, what? This doesn't even make sense.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to pivot off the PPE for just a second. Let's talk about protocols. Early pandemic, we implemented a holistic approach to the inflammation that we were seeing. So yes, it may have been what we called a novel virus, but we had some fundamental truths, and once we started to learn a little bit more about it, but the fundamental truths still were there, that we would treat any given septic patient with these fundamental truths. And then all of a sudden, those protocols started to change. And I've been around long enough. During the Obamacare years, they weeded out a lot of senior nursing staff at the bedside, I'm afraid to tell you. So whether you're seeing an NP, a PA, or you're dealing with an ICU nurse, you are probably dealing with a novice person who doesn't have a lot of clinical experience. But I had plenty of clinical experience and came out of a really good hospital. So I was like, what? Well, I don't understand. Why are we not administering these high levels of vitamin D, C, zinc, right? And I won't go into a lot of detail because I still have a license to protect, and I don't know, But the problem is that protocols changed, and things that we'd always done started to change. And it got so bad that, like, on my last contract near the end of the second year of the pandemic, when I decided I had to step aside, I'm no longer in Cincinnati at this time. I'm on a travel in a community hospital in a rural area. These are farmers. These are Trump's people. Okay? And they were receiving I hate the word deplorable because of Hillary, but they were receiving deplorable health care. So I had a bariatric patient, a very heavy patient, like maybe about 290, 310, older lady, farmer's wife, hardy, strong constitution, had every chance in the world. But I met her on day 10. She was not in a bariatric bed, so she couldn't turn. She was like in a canoe. Nobody had ambulated her out of bed. She didn't have a physical therapy, occupational therapy consult. She was having a hospitalist manage her care in the ICU. And so during my first 12 hours with her, I reversed her scenario, but unfortunately she still didn't live. these are protocols that would have been implemented within the first 12 hours of her ICU stay. Like, oh, she's a larger lady, she needs a large bed, so we can turn her appropriately.
Sure.
And so that was all under Trump's watch. And it was just disgusting the amount of COVID relief money these corporate healthcare and the so-called non-for-profit healthcare systems were receiving. And in the most fundamental and basic nursing, interventions are not being implemented. This is nursing 101. This is like in your first week of training in the ICU, you need to learn how to properly turn somebody so you can encourage them to cough and deep breathe, and you open up a variety of lung fields that way. And so for 10 days, he wasn't turned.
Sounds like maybe encouragement for death. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you get an outspoken advocate, whether it be a family member or somebody like me who's like, whoa, who works for the facility, you're just immediately ostracized. And let me tell you what's going on behind the nurses station. And this has been going on a little bit, like pre-COVID, since Obamacare. But people are planning their baby showers and looking at funny kitten videos and ignoring critical alarms in the ICU environment. Why? Because they were hired as a new grad and they still don't know how to wipe a butt. Like pre-Obamacare, you wouldn't have ever hired a new grad into the ICU. That nurse would have had to have a decent GPA and work the floor for a couple of years and then demonstrate some clinical competencies in order to earn that role. And it was a highly coveted role. And now you've got like new grads in there.
Sure. Inexperienced, right. Yeah. It sounds deliberate.
Between the two administrations, they decimated healthcare, decimated it. Right. And unfortunately for our nation's physicians, they don't have time to do their own research. They have to rely on the FDA and the CDC. And, it just trickles down.
Indeed.
And they have to say, oh, okay, that's the latest.
Caller,
evidence.
we're going to commercial. We're going into the commercial break right now. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right. You have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
I feel like you're trying to get out of bounds.
I go hard. I go hard, hard. If I were soft, I would not have gotten this far. I go hard. I go hard. I go hard.
I'm familiar.
Yes, you are. I say, sit down, everybody. And they don't sit down. They refuse to sit down. They don't sit down. Sit down, everybody. And they don't sit down. They refuse to sit down. They don't sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Down. They refuse to sit down. They don't sit down. If I don't go all the way, if I don't win, we do the mistake. A complete waste of energy and money and money and money and money and money and money. funny. I don't look back and say, I wish I didn't do this or that. I'm not stupid, it's a fact. I never had a tweet. The thing that gets me in trouble is a retweet or killer than a tweet. I retweet and respond to what they did to me. I'm gonna fight back. It's not a one-way street. I go hard. I go hard. If I were soft, I would not have gotten this far. I go hard. I go hard. I go hard.
I'm familiar.
Yes, hard.
Mr. Trump, some have suggested that you refuse to release your tax returns because of your extreme privacy concerning your hobbies.
Yes.
So, can you confirm or deny this list of personal pastimes?
Yeah, I guess so. But
Fingerbody,
I go hard.
Minecraft,
I go hard.
podiatry,
I go hard.
hacky sack,
I go hard.
balloon animal,
I go hard.
breeding cats,
I go hard.
CrossFit,
Waste of time.
coloring,
I go hard.
doing Zumba,
I go hard.
water polo,
I go hard.
playing tuba, spray tan,
I go hard.
driving Uber, putting together a bed frame from IKEA,
Waste of time.
while you're sequencing the entire human genome.
Waste of time. Waste of time. Waste of time.
Cytosine,
Waste of time.
guanine,
Waste of time.
adenine,
Waste of time.
thymine,
Waste of time.
all the means.
Waste of time.
You are now tuning into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
This is not a valid menu option.
Condition orange.
Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, True Seeker. Before we get back to the callers, and it is nice to hear the new voices, just Fox News headline right now. Lawmakers on Dems' 14 trillion reparations demand to address harm since the founding. Again, 14 trillion reparations, slavery. What's the word slave equal in Gematria? It equals 14. The 14th Amendment, which allowed slaves to become citizens. Citizens, another form of slavery. But again, you see the number ritual with everything they do to us day after day when you know Gematria. Let's go out to New Mexico. New Mexico, 575.
Lion.
575.
Lion. Lion.
Is this a troll? Is this the troll? This is the troll call. Okay. He must be part of the operation that just took place in Farmington. All right. Trolls are always out there. Let's go out to 301. 301, you're on.
Hey, Zach, it's Matt. How you doing?
Yeah, what's up?
All right. I just wanted to talk to you tonight about, actually last night, and the Western Conference Finals, but it's not exactly about the game and what happened in the game. It's more so about the score and who was there and how it ties into Trump. So remember back when you were talking about Trump surrendering on 4-4, and we were doing all these connections about Joker and Batman and stuff.
And we were talking a lot about 34, and Joker drops 34 points last night in Game 1.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, what, man?
I was just documenting the other day. I just documented the other day that when the Nuggets advanced from the series, it was 34 days before the finals. And, yeah, they again, but go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear your observations.
Okay, cool. So, basically on 4/4 when Trump surrendered, and I think we talked about this, that actually turns out to be Heath Ledger's birthday. And, you know, Heath Ledger also played Joker.
Well, we covered
and
that.
Last night...
It was going to be Heath Ledger's 44th birthday on the 4/4 that Trump was in court. And again, Trump was the 44th person to be president.
Exactly. And last night, obviously, you have Joker or Nikola Jokic, who has that great game. And if you look at the time frame from that was 42 days exactly. Now check this out. So keeping on with Heath Ledger's birthday and being on 4/4, if you look at that, it was 42 days, right? And then it was 324 days before his next birthday, which would have been his 45th birthday. Well, not really 45th. Well, yeah, it would have been his 45th birthday. So if you look at Super Bowl 58, Super Bowl 58 takes place on February 11th, which happens to be the 42nd day, leaving 324 days left in the year. Now, what's significant about Super Bowl 58, and you started actually bringing up, was Russell Wilson and how he connects with, what's the dude's name? Huntington Russell. How do you say his name? What's his name? I have it written down. Oh, yeah, William Huntington Russell and the Russell Trust Association. Well, prepare to get your mind blown. So Trump won the 58th quadrennial election, right? And the whole deal about Donald Trump and how it was 42 days yesterday and how it connects to Joker was the fact that yesterday was May 16th or 5/16. And when you flip it around and you put 16/5, that's 165, like Scottish Rite is 165. Well, it turns out Donald Trump was born on the 165th day. So then we had a special guest, on the sidelines during the game, and it happened to be none other than Let's Ride Broncos Country, Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson was at the game last night. And so, of course, I had to start digging into his numerology and everything. And it turns out that it was 168 days after his birthday. Now, the 168 is very important because the Super Bowl this year is at the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium, which is called Allegiant Stadium, and that sums to 168. And also, interesting fact, it actually sums to 102. And why this is interesting is because, remember, Russell Wilson played 10 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks, and now he's getting ready to play his second season with the Denver Broncos. Now, I'm getting ready to tie all of this in for you. So yesterday was the 64th date numerology, right? And what is it? Denver Nuggets on the 64. Denver Broncos actually on the 64. But check this number out. So how it was 168 days since Russell Wilson's birthday. Well, guess what? It was 197 days before his next birthday. 197 obviously is the 45th prime, and that's where Trump started to get connected into this. And the reason why I saw this was interesting was because if you actually put in the founding date for Nevada, which is the host state, like that's the state where the Super Bowl 58 is going to be played, it's 10/31 or October 31st. If you put that number in and then you put in 5/16, it's exactly 197 days. And that's the 45th prime. So those two connected right there. And then I started digging a little bit deeper. So it turns out that the Broncos, right, the Denver Broncos, is going to be their 64th season overall, like just in their existence. And then it's going to be their 54th season in the NFL. Russell Wilson sums to 54. And it doesn't even stop there. So last night, the Lakers took an ass whooping, right? And they were losing. It was 72-54 at halftime, an 18-point lead. And you know, just as well as I know, 54 and 72 is Jesuit order. Well, here's an interesting point. So we already figured out about the 54 and Russell Wilson, but what is a 72? Well, it turns out that where the game's going to be played in Paradise, Nevada, is actually the area code is 702, like 72. And that was 126 points combined. Well, check this out. Once it gets to the end of the game, it's 126 and 100. It was 132 to 126. Denver won, right? If you combine that, that sums to 258. this is where it got really, really, really scary for me, but in a good way.
Here, I just want to stop. I want to stop real quick because you're doing so many. This is way too big of a decode for the internet with no visuals. No one's going to follow this really. I'm following you. But I just want to stop right there with the combined score of 258 points. For people who don't know, the Lakers' playoff record versus the Nuggets last night coming into the game was 25-8. Then the final score is 258 points. Again, we're always educating about how LeBron's always doing the number of the beast rituals. When you write out number of the beast, it's 258. So, and again, big number with Kobe's death. And again, Colorado's the 38th state. It's always a 38 ritual in Colorado. Kobe had the rape story there. Yesterday's game was exactly 38 weeks after what would have been Kobe's birthday. And remember, he died exactly 38 weeks after his wife's birthday. And there's a story about him buying the wife the big diamond ring at the time of the rape story to save the marriage. But anyway, it's too many numbers to the radio. It's like call in about one number, maybe two, and just get right to the point, because I'm telling you, nobody's following this. But go ahead to wrap it up.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. So basically the major thing was just the fact that Russell Wilson was there, and it turned out that from 5/16 to the date of the Super Bowl, which is 2/11/2024, is 271 days, which happens to be the 58th prime. Obviously, I can't go into it on the radio like you just said, but I have a full decode of why the Denver Broncos are actually going to face the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Again, that was Super Bowl 48. Seahawks 48 won it. Here, I just want to stop you. I don't think that's going to be the Super Bowl at all, but I'm going to tell you why I think they did that. Again, that was the 94th NFL season. Remember, Denver equals 94, like Seattle-Washington. That was the year that Seattle beat Denver, the 94th NFL season. Then Russell Wilson's grandpa died at 94. The Lakers advanced to play the Nuggets in their 94th game, closing out the Warriors exactly 94 days after LeBron beat the record. So now they're in Denver, and they're having this 94 thing. So then you got to have the guys there from that represent the other big 94 sports event with Denver. And we're talking about the Russell Trust and Russell Wilson. Remember the last member of Skull and Bones to die was George Herbert Walker Bush at age 94. And again, there's more to all of this.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think that means that the upcoming Super Bowl is the Broncos and the Seahawks. So, man, to use up all that airtime to say that Broncos and Seahawks are going to be the Super Bowl, you don't want to do that. Because, trust me, like if you're in a room of people and you're talking for 20 minutes and the big conclusion is Broncos, Seahawks, that's not going to sell Gematria to anyone in that room, especially when those teams do not have a good upcoming season. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be the Super Bowl.
Okay, can I just add one last nugget and then I'll get off?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it just goes back to what you were saying about the Russell Trust Association. So that actually sums to 292. Russell Wilson's birthday on the Super Bowl, it's 292 days before his birthday. So I was just kind of throwing that in, like they kind of tie up together, because you were saying earlier about how Russell connects with William Huntington Russell. That's all I got.
Yeah, all right, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Good observations.
All right, no problem.
All right, yeah, good observations, but big conclusion that's very likely not going to happen. I mean, anyway, let's go out to New York. 347. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Zach? You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I don't got too much. I got three quick ones I want to hit you with. The first one is, hold on, let me pull up this article. Did you see the article about Google, Meta, and Amazon after they laid off their workers, how they hired all the foreign workers for less money? Did you see that story?
Yeah, they're talking about that all over the news today, and that's been going on for a long time. That's been going on since I was in college. That's like I thought it was funny they were talking about that today, because I mean that's been going on for 20 years now.
I know, because you always talk about why they hire all these foreign people, all these tech companies hire all these foreigners, because you say they don't care about what's going on here. And it's probably going on in their country too, so that's why they hire them, right?
Right. They got the skills, and then they're used to being like, well, that's what we do in our country. We just don't go against government, and we go with the flow, and yeah.
Okay, my next point. You always say they gotta always repeat history, right? Or always remind you of what they want to remind you of. Did you see the news about the Titanic? Some new photos about the Titanic?
I did see that. Supposedly some new scanners got new images about the Titanic. Yeah. have to look into that one.
What you say? They always got to bring up the Titanic every couple of years, right? Just to prove their point, right?
They got to bring up. They got to bring up the big lie, the big story they got to get away with. So.
All right. This is the last one. I think you need to look into the that Netflix, whatever that's a movie or a docu-series that Jamie Foxx is coming out on June 14th. They clone Tyrone. You see what it's about?
What? Who's got the movie coming out?
The Jamie Foxx one that's coming out on Netflix on June 14th, but they clone Tyrone.
Oh, I think I heard they're coming out with a movie about clone. Jamie Foxx is actually in the movie?
Yes, it's coming on Netflix. It's about the government doing an experiment on black people.
That's what this is all about, because it's opened up all the doors for the rumors that Jamie Foxx got cloned, which is a viral topic on social media right now. So yeah, just perfect. This weird story that doesn't make any sense. It's got people wondering what's going on with Jamie Foxx. I heard there was a clone movie coming out. I didn't realize Jamie Foxx was in it. Okay.
Yes. I just find it funny that while this you were talking about the other movie, that cartoon movie, while him being a teacher, while him being in a coma, like that movie and this clone movie coming out, like it's too much, man.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. So.
Yeah, so that's the only thing.
Hey, check this out. From the day that the medical emergency broke, with Jamie Foxx, April 11th, to the day the movie comes out, June 14th, span of 65 days. Guess what Tyrone equals?
65.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And the pickleball, 83, the pickleball, he's playing pickleball, right?
Yeah. What a joke. Okay, yeah. So here it comes out on the flag's birthday, June 14th, from April 11th, the day the medical emergency.
That's Trump's birthday too.
Yeah, Trump's birthday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just had to make that point. Look into that Tyrone movie.
Yeah, there it is. All right, appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Okay.
All right, let's go out to George. What's up, George?
Hello, Zach. How are you doing this evening?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Okay, I'll be as brief as possible. Okay, so I'd just like to share a couple of observations. In your intro, you're talking about, I'm paraphrasing, you're talking about what are all the Jesuit connections to Donald Trump? You didn't say that, but... sorry. You're talking about all the Jesuit connections to Donald Trump, besides his education, the fact that he did his first 2 years at Fordham. I'm sure you probably discussed it before, but just as a quick reminder, at least 3 of his children were educated by Jesuits. His son, Eric, got his undergraduate degree from Fordham. His daughter, Tiffany, got her law degree. I'm sorry, Eric went to Georgetown, I beg your pardon. His daughter, Tiffany went to law school at Georgetown, and his daughter/mistress, Ivana, attended Georgetown before he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania, as he did himself. Okay, but that wasn't my main point. This is a little bit obscure, but the other day I was watching the CBS News coverage of Robert F. Kennedy's assassination back in 1968 on June the 5th.
Right.
Well, I was watching a YouTube video, and it's several hours long. And it's interesting, that was on Wednesday, June the 5th, 1968, and he pretty much secured the nomination for the Democratic Party in 1968. And then he was supposed to be going on to Chicago to speak at their national convention, I guess, sometime next month, or the following month. Well, the big news item in LA that day was Don Drysdale, the pitcher for the Dodgers, had just had his consecutive inning streak snapped at something like 58 and 2/3 innings the day before. That was on Tuesday, June the 4th. And I knew that Don Drysdale had done that sometime in 1968, but I never bothered to look up the dates. Now, why am I talking about something that took place almost 56 years ago? So, do you think that was synced up with Bobby Kennedy? Because he was shot in LA at the Ambassador Hotel.
Right. Yeah, it probably was. I mean, it's all a big ritual. Again, to remind people, you had the JFK and RFK assassinations in '68. The first major gun control came that year at the end of the year after their assassinations. It was 201 days after MLK's death, and it was 139 after Bobby Kennedy's reported death, and gun control equals 139. And of course, 201 is the number of the Jesuits. But yeah, I mean, that's what they do. They line up the stories, one ritual after the next, and if you have enough information, you can kind of connect what they're doing. So.
Okay, if I can just make another observation. Well, for what it's worth, Drysdale met an early demise. Now, he was born on the 23rd of July, 1936, and he died on July the 3rd, 1993. He was born in Van Nuys, California, just outside of LA, but he died in Montreal, Canada, because after his playing career ended in 1969, he became an announcer, first for the Angels, later the Dodgers. And I actually looked this up on his Wikipedia entry. He actually had a videotape, a VHS tape of the CBS coverage of his death. It was actually in his suitcase, which seems like an odd thing to be carrying around with him. So, Drysdale was 56 years old. It was just a few weeks short of his 57th birthday. He purportedly died of a heart attack. Now, I looked into Don Drysdale's background. I couldn't find anything about his religious affiliation or whether he was a Freemason or anything, which is not to say that he wasn't. I just don't have any proof. But
do you notice what year he joined the Dodgers? Do you notice what year he joined the Dodgers?
Well, the then Brooklyn Dodgers in 1956.
Right, and then he dies at 56. And again, huge number at the Jesuits is 56. Recently, the Dodgers broke the 32-year drought, beating the Rays when there's 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo. So, was he in the club, or is it just part of being this league that's run by the people that are the club, and does he become a victim? Yeah, I'd have to look into it more. I see his Hall of Fame induction was in the infamous year of 1984. 84, he's dead 9 years later. Baseball's a game of 9 innings. Jesuit 84, so interesting.
Oh, okay. And this one, I know you're talking about the Russell Trust Fund. Well, recently, I mean, like a month or two ago, Russell Crowe played a Catholic priest in a movie called The Pope Exorcist.
Okay, I gotta check that out. Yeah. The Russell joke has really opened up to me now. Okay.
And then there's the whole Russell Brand thing, who's like, I know the expression "controlled opposition" is overused, but he does make some valid points.
Sure. That's what all these guys do. All these guys make valid points. Bill Maher makes valid points. Donald Trump makes valid points. Gavin Newsom makes valid points. Name them, they all make valid points, but then ultimately, where do they steer people? They steer people right down the lanes that they want them in. Politics, TV, anything but a conspiracy. I mean, Bill Maher. I remember Bill Maher after 9/11, just like saying a lot of things that need to be said, but then he towed the line with it was Al Qaeda and the Taliban, and we got to do something about this Bin Laden guy. It's like, come on, man, you can't be that dumb.
Well, and of course, you're talking about Donald Trump. I was just thinking, if he had won in 2012, I might have actually voted for him, but there's no way. Okay, the last time I voted, as I said, was the 2021 California recall election because that's where I live. And as I said before, if there were any doubts as to whether elections are rigged, that ritual eliminated that. Because not only did Gavin Newsom allegedly defeat the recall, but he got 70% of the popular vote. Really?
Yeah, indeed, really is right. So.
Okay, so I know you have other callers, and so, have a good evening, Zach.
All right, appreciate it, George. You take care. Breaking news in the world of WWE. Billy Graham, dead at age 79. Society of Jesus has that gematria 56 and 79. NBA Conference Finals start tonight in the East. Miami Heat, big 79 team. And again, dead today, the 137th day of the year, the 33rd prime, big number with masonry. Vince McMahon, a Mason. Let me see if I can get his birthday, Billy Graham. Born June 7th, so that makes him dead 21 days before his upcoming birthday. Jesuit 21, but yeah, I'll have to look more into. So often these WWE deaths sync up with their major events each year: WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Vince McMahon. But yeah, breaking news. Billy Graham of the WWE gone at 79. Keep taking calls here. We got 850. 850, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
Yo, what's up, Zach?
Yeah, what's going on?
Man?
What's going on, man?
Yeah. I like your idea here with the Trump thing, because I think the Trump tards are, I guess, a better hope than the Biden people, because those people are so fucking far gone, saying funny. The Trump people, I mean, yeah, they're far gone, but they're willing to do something.
Right. They sort of see what's going on in the world. They're just fooled by politics and religion and Trump. So.
Yeah, and you know where I live. I live down here in the South, and of course, big Trump fans. I was thinking about trying to start something in Atlanta, because I know you wanted to come out to Atlanta around 9/11. Things happen, and that's okay.
I do intend to make it back out to Atlanta this year, so that should happen.
Yeah, I mean that's great. I think CNN's birthday is actually in June or July. I was thinking about rally some troops and head over there. I don't know, to CNN.
June 1st. June 1st. Their birthday is 6/1. That makes a lot of sense because news equals 61. Okay.
Man, that's a little sooner than I thought. Oh.
15 days. 15 days.
What day is that? 15 days? I might be able to make it. Yeah, I mean, if anybody in the chat's down, hit me up through Vibration Podcast. I'm down to go to Atlanta and talk some shit to Anderson Cooper and his cream-filled treats if anybody else is willingly to go there and expose Trump too. Because here's one thing, Zach, because you asked one thing about Trump that we have to expose. Okay, so he went to East Palestine, right? And he bought a bunch of people McDonald's. That's enough to tell you that he's trash.
Oh, hold on. We went to commercial break. Sit tight, everybody. We're going to be back and continue this conversation.
Oh. What's wrong with you? Can you imagine the difference? Just the mistake of one small word means all the difference in the world in the kind of reaction that you get. But here's the dilemma: to attack the problem but not the person. God's got the same dilemma. God says, I love you, but I hate your sinful ways. Now, see, that's a challenge, to show somebody that you love them but you hate. How do you put love and hate in the same sentence? I'm telling you, it is essential to show your contempt for the problem and your concern for the battle.
It's amazing how people have been raving about IO-Life all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iLife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iLife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to iLife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's iLife.com, AYA life.com.
We exist in the security and comfort of our worlds. Paved paths, lights, and manicured lawns give us peace of mind that our world has been tamed, and we are its master. But other worlds exist on the edge of our sight. On the edge of our awareness, the shadows move. The woods is filled with the unblinking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about. Some of us have stumbled into these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brent Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
Enter the Paranormal Portal if you dare. TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Gentleman got interrupted by the commercial break who's trying to get people to come out for CNN's birthday, June 1st, 15 days from today, and see if they can get some kind of response from CNN about the propaganda they put out day after day. Florida, you're back on.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. If anybody's down, you guys know where to hit me up. Most of you have me subbed here on YouTube. And Zach, I don't know if you've been watching, but I mean, I haven't been very receptive to the channel lately, ever since Mercury hit retrograde. It's been a whirlwind last month, man, in my life. And I just had an aunt who took the miracle magical cure. She ended up getting Alzheimer's, and she just died this morning from it. And you know, it's been a crazy month, dude. But things are starting to level out again, and I'm bouncing back once again. And I'm ready to go out to Atlanta. It's only about a 3-hour drive to Tachi. I don't want to hear any excuses. I know you're making something up in the chat. You're coming up to Atlanta too, brother. And we're gonna make some waves. We're gonna go Anderson Cooper's cream-filled desk, and we're gonna give him all his cream-filled treats.
I'm looking right now. If I was to fly out on the 31st to be there for the 1st, what the flight cost is right now. Here, I'll put you up what I'm looking at. If I leave here at 5:30 a.m. on the 31st, I can be in Atlanta by 2:56 p.m. 56 minutes after the hour. How about that? But yeah, that's not bad. And then I'd have all June 1st. So, but yeah.
You won't have jet lag?
Oh, I mean, jet lag. I mean, I've never had those kind of problems. I'll be fine. So.
Cool. I'll come pick you up.
It says there's a 56-minute layover in Denver. That's funny. Even get a 56-minute layover in Denver. So.
You have to do it now, Zach, just because of that. All the 56s are calling your name right now, dude. I would do it. Yeah, I mean, if you do it, I'm even more down to drive on up there and pound some pavement, because I mean, I got nothing to lose. I'm willing to go Roddy Piper over here and Cable 54 these motherfuckers.
Indeed. Yeah, again, the problem here at home is Sweet Lady she keeps winning the argument because she notices every time I go out and pound payment, the support just goes down. So she says, what's the point of doing this? All it does is make your support go away. And I said, well, I can't figure it out, but it doesn't feel like the support's going down because I'm pounding payment. I don't know how to explain it. But, hey, by the way, I did start a travel tier. 2 people have joined it. Thank you so much to Jeremiah and Larry. If there's more people in the world that would like to see me do things like this, fly out here, pound payment there for a day. I mean, it takes resources. I mean, look, you guys, it's expensive to travel. And if I do that, I won't get a hotel. I'll just stay out the whole time. I'll just like what we do when we go to New York and LA. We pretty much don't sleep. We just work the whole time. So it'll be a marathon tour in Atlanta. And, yeah, but I'm listening. If we can get more support this month, I can... it could happen as soon as tonight. For all the people that standing by with the hands in the pockets, not supporting, watching the support go down as I do more and more, you can help me make the argument over here for why I should fly out to Atlanta for June 1st for CNN's birthday. So, anyway.
Come on, guys. Come on. Fuck McDonald's. Fuck that Starbucks coffee. Let's go.
Yeah, by the way, that's what you were saying when we went into commercial break. I'm not sure the people on TFR heard, but you're making the point about how Trump buys everybody McDonald's junk food. I mean, what kind of man is that? Who buys anybody McDonald's if they actually care about those people? I feel bad saying that because there's a lot of parents that feed their children McDonald's. But for all you parents who feed your children McDonald's, you need to do better research. Come on. McDonald's is not good for you. So.
And trust me, you shouldn't be loving it. And, you don't need an adult Happy Meal toy to get through the day either, or a Diet Coke. But if Trump is endorsing McDonald's, a New World Order fast food chain, that should, that's more than you need to know. You don't need to know anything else about the guy. He's already in on it. He's endorsing McDonald's, man. Giving his money and buying people that food. I mean, that man's got enough money for East Palestine, Ohio, to, buy everybody groceries for a month, at least. Why don't you just go buy some people some, healthy food for a month? Oh, because I'm sure your Jesuit masters said not to go McDonald's, where they have investments. So, yeah. I know it's TFR, so I know there's a lot of Trump people out there. Just think about that, guys. Come on.
Indeed.
That's about it, man.
All right.
Let me know. You know where to hit me up. And if you end up going to Atlanta, Zach, I will be there. Only a 3-hour trip.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah, take care, man. Okay, let's go out to Minnesota. 218, you're on.
Zach wants to shoot people in the head. Zach wants to shoot people in the head. Zach wants to shoot people in the head.
Look at the trolls, you guys. Thanks for the troll comment. Yeah, I do, because people like you exist. All right, let's go out to 828. 828, you're on. Can you
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
You're
Can
on.
you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, good. It's good to talk to you, Zach. This is the Divine Lion. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, but this is the Divine Lion. It's good to finally talk to you, get to finally meet you. And I guess you talked about Trump earlier, and I guess I want to go this. So I was in the military at one point, and at that time, when Trump became the president, something hit me where I remember as a kid, I used to watch WWE, and it's funny, you just got that news about the guy Billy Graham just died at 79.
Did you see he's dead Did you see he's dead exactly 38 weeks after Vince McMahon's birthday?
No, but that's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Like I say, he's got like Freemason and dude. I've been learning so much about you, bro. Like I said, dude, I love you, dude. Listen, bro. You're a hero. One day we're gonna change this world, and we're gonna prove these people. We're gonna prove this, dude. All right, we're gonna prove this, man. All right.
We are proving it already, but more people are going to take notice as time goes on, and they're going to see how important it is.
Man, and people really doubted me, man, at times. And when I first went through this, man, and it's been a couple of years. But when Kobe died, man, something hit me. But like I said, dude, my mom died on October 19, 2019. My mother died on that day. Isn't it the day that was burned to the grave in France, right?
Right.
Am I wrong?
No.
October 19. Am I not wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
You want to hear something funny, Zach? So you always speak on 42, the number of slavery, Negro, slavery blue, 59, and everything on that. LeBron wore the 49 hat with the blue, like the Dodgers. Right. And it's funny that you just got that troll call because they know I was fucking calling, man, on some real shit. Because they know who the fuck I am. 74 all day, bro. If you look at my name, Kevin Malik Washington. If you look at the name Washington is the oldest name and most indigenous name in America. America is the Amaru. It's an empire, bro. The black people are indigenous to this fucking land, dude. I just want to let you fucking people know that standing on this day watching Gematria every day that y'all special, bro. Walking every day. That's why people treat you the way. That's why those cops treat you that way. And even for my brothers, that is Caucasian or white. I hate that, dude, because it's not white is black, and it's the same, dude. All right, you understand that, Zach?
Indeed. Divine Line, I just want to say thank you too, since you called in today. I know exactly who you are in the chat. You're very generous.
I always have to call in, but man, it's hard, bro, because bro, it's real impactful, bro. Because I listen to what everybody says. Everybody's genius on some stuff. Everybody's genius on their own right, and we all have a path, and we all have a piece of this puzzle to fix this world. That this cabal, that this Catholicism has taken over. I'm so glad that I got to learn this, and I'm so sad because my mother was so into movies, and she would have been so, man, I could have broke this down to her because I have notes, and I'm just flipping through my notes because I could just talk all day about things, bro. And I love, because I haven't fucking took notes in so long, but I watch your videos every day. I watch things on indigenous things every day, and I listen to all my brothers and sisters. Y'all my tribe, bro. We tribe, bro. In America, bro, you born in the soil, bro. You is tribe, bro. You hear me? Do you hear me, Zach?
Indeed.
I want you to take that in, bro. You is tribe, bro. Yes, we is tribe, bro. This is our homeland. Bro, they are trying to take over our home, and we are not going to let this happen. And it's crazy that I just called it, and that just happened, bro, because, bro, it's real shit, but they told me, man, I don't care, bro. They told me that I couldn't talk about this, but, man, fuck that shit, bro. Fuck them, and this is my home, bro. They can't have it. I'm in Washington, bro. I'm the oldest, bro. I have to hold this motherfucking America down, bro. You hear me? We have to hold this place down. And just keep doing what you're doing. And ain't nothing gonna happen to you because I'm protecting you. Angels is all over you. I have notes on those. We could talk one day because I would love to talk to you, bro. You was a hero, bro. You hear me?
I appreciate that, Divine Line, and you're absolutely right. I mean, people should see that their homeland is under attack by a sinister order that lies and murders every day, and more people should be willing to stand up against it and stop
Islam, listen here. I'm sorry to cut you off. Islam, I, self-law, and master. Master yourself, all people, and learn who you are. We are all pieces to the puzzle, no matter what your religious belief or whatever it is. Not your religious belief, your spiritual belief. Whatever your religion, your spiritual belief is what you do at home. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you do, bro, we are all catered to be better, and we all are. But like I said, we have so many dudes. Well, look at where it gets. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to everybody. I can't name everybody, but I just on top of my head right now is RPM Trey because, man, he's a go-getter. And, you just talk because Chicago is my dude. I was born in St. Louis on November 15th, 1995 in a blizzard, bro. And it's funny because you were born on the coldest day you just said ever on, I can't think of it right now, but it correlates, you know what I'm saying? But, and I'm from Chicago, dude. And I spent 10 years in Chicago, and you spoke on Fort Jackson because my brother ended up going to the Marine Corps out of Chicago when he was 18, man. And then I'll never forget, dude, 9/11, 2001, the plane hit the tower. My mom said, "Oh my God, that plane hit the tower," but it didn't look right to me. He's like, it didn't look right to me. And it always touched me as a fucking kid, bro. And I always had something in my head as a kid. I don't know, dude, I was always really smart as a kid, bro. Like I said, us as indigenous people, y'all are fucking geniuses, bro. Y'all are geniuses. You fucking hear me? Y'all are geniuses. So understand who you fucking are, and learn who the fuck you are. You are a tribe, bro, and learn who you are because they're trying to take your land. They're trying to switch off your land. You ain't no African. You hear me? You don't know nothing about no Africa. You speak some African. You don't know it's African. You only know English. So learn that your people have built this land. When Thoth, who was a Texan, went to the other land of Africa, and after it flooded because Africa was very fucking desolate. To this day, it's extremely desolate. Don't shit go there. We go down there everything in the world here. We feed the fucking world, okay? Dude, that's why they want to fucking outsource all our jobs and give us immigrants because they want to fucking deplete you of your fucking homeland of who you the fuck you are. But it's so much more to go into it. But look into who you are, people, and learn that this man is speaking the truth, bro, and that he loves you, and it's all love, and that when people come at this man with hate and all that jealousy, bro, it's jealousy because they don't understand or understand who the fuck they are, and that this game that these people playing ain't about the money you can get. Let's get this fucking money so we can stop these motherfuckers and take back our homeland, and let's make this motherfucker a metropolis again. Look up Carlos Supe in Peru and learn that Negroes built that thing 500 million years ago. And learn that there are people been here for millions and millions of years ago. Learn that you're a heterosapien. It's so much more to go into it instead of understanding that they taught you that you're a homo sapien. Circle C, Columbus, and learn that the answers always aren't right and that there's more to it than you know. Thank you, bro.
Indeed. Appreciate your call and your enthusiasm and you asking people to stand up. That's what we need more of. Thank you.
Hey, Honey Badger, I'm gonna start batting at work because, man, I'm trying to get my money up because I gotta make some plays because my sisters are planning to move to Cali, and I really don't like that, but I understand if they want to, they have their dreams and stuff, and I fully support that. But I'm learning a lot about history in North Carolina, and even where I'm at in the Ville, which is Asheville, and I just wanted to say that, shout out to everybody in the chat, shout out to, just to you, dude. What you do is fucking amazing, bro. Like it has inspired me as a man. Like, I mean, I've grown up as a man just because of you, bro. It's been a couple of years, bro. Like I said, 2019, even before I was getting spiritual, dude. But dude, once I learned Gematria and I started learning it, man, like I even went through some shit just because I learned it. But like I said, it's because, like I said, dude, my number at 74 hit it all over it. So like I said, like Messiah, you know what I'm saying? It's a good and a bad, you know what I'm saying? Yin and yang. So I'm a twin, bro, on some real shit, on some other things. So the Gemini. So it's like I'm learning a lot about astrology and stuff like that. I'm sorry to cut you off because I have so much knowledge, and I'm just speaking on so many things because I have so much to say to you, bro. Cause like I said, you inspired me, bro, and I've just been learning so much, bro, from you. And you're one of my master teachers. You understand that?
Well, thank you. That's a nice compliment. Are you putting your information out in the world for other people to check it out somewhere on social media?
No, I took down some videos beforehand when I was doing things, but I'm gonna eventually start putting up some information. But I want to start. Man, I'm a perfectionist, dude. So I'm kind of like getting everything together in my head and just how I want to put it together and like get some, I want to do like some PowerPoints and stuff like that. So pretty soon I want to get some things out, and I'd love to like collab with some other people and just like I said, I went on Honey Badger's open channel and talked to Bamboo Soldier. Man, he's fucking hella chill, and I'm glad he came out there and you met him because, man, he's a true soldier. You feel me? So what you guys do and what everybody do, we're all pieces to the puzzle, and dude, I love you guys, bro.
Thanks again, Divine Lion. A lot of people appreciate your call tonight and your words. So thanks for making that first call.
Yeah, for sure, bro. I'll definitely try. I'll definitely call in the game, man. And like I said, I'll definitely get the information out. I want you to collab with some. Like, I don't know how it went with you and Dan. I want you to like actually talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Not to just I wish you guys would have got the can work together, or hopefully work together in the future. And there's some other people that I would like for you to hopefully talk to, and just put your information out with them, because I shared it with them one time and it didn't really go down well, because I felt like I was kind of like cutting in on their thing. But it was trying to do that. It was just trying to get the information out, try to build a bridge. You feel me? Because I remember a guy brought up Prum when he was out in LA. So like I said, I'm trying to build that bridge and get my people to understand who they are, and get everybody to understand what everything is. You know what I'm saying? And how everything is going. Like, this Catholic Church is evil. Like, everything's satanic. You know what I'm saying? Trump is self-worship. You feel me? That's why I left, dude. I left the art. Dude, I fucking quit, dude. Like, I gave up a lot, dude. I lost fucking everything. I'm building everything back. So, like I said, I'm building back better to take my home back. You feel me?
Indeed.
So I love you, dude. And like I said, I can't wait to read some more comments and listen to the rest of the show. And soldier up, bro.
All right. Thanks again, Divine Lion. You have a good evening. Appreciate you.
You too, bro.
All right. Take care. Okay. We got 6 minutes till the commercial break. Next up, 408.
All right. So just the other day, here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, the Dallas Stars advanced to the Stanley Cup Finals, and I found it funny that during the game, one of the Stars players, Wyatt Johnston, became the youngest player to score a game-winning goal in a Game 7 at 20 years and 1 day old.
Huh. 201. Okay.
Yep. And this is their 56th season in the NHL.
I see. Go figure. I love how ESPN's front page right now has a picture of Michael Jordan's son with his tongue out, and most of them don't see the joke. Jimmy Butler, that's Jordan's son. You can never convince me any other way. But Eric Spoelstra looks like he's about to pick up his 17th career playoff win over the Celtics on May 17th. Of course, we call the NBA the 17 League. But yeah, I just love that the front page of ESPN's Jimmy Butler with the tongue out like his dad Jordan. Okay.
And I guess also just one other thing. I'm trying to, because I've thought about if the Stars do advance to the Stanley Cup Finals. I've thought about going over to Dallas and maybe educating the people over there. I've tried ordering a megaphone, but it's doing this weird thing where I have to verify that I'm buying, and then it sends a code to my mom, but then by the time I ask my mom for the code, the thing's already expired. So hopefully I can get the megaphone at some point soon, and then maybe if the Stars go advance, I can go over there and educate the fans.
Perfect. Do that, Evan. I appreciate that.
All right. All right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. And remember, you got those other people out in Dallas. Link up with them. You guys can go out together.
Yeah, we got Jeremy. We got Angel. Yeah, we've got people out here.
Yeah. The gentleman who just drove out to LA from Dallas. He was out there when we were out there last year on April 20th. So, all right. Very cool. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take care. It's funny, in the back of my head, my head kept telling me the whole time since I saw it, I was like, the NBA is all about 17. Doesn't that make the most sense that Spoelstra would get his 17th win over the Celtics in the playoffs in the 17th? Exactly. Woo, excuse me. Allergy season. But yeah, that's exactly what they did. Look at Jimmy. Look at the picture they use of Jimmy Butler with his tongue out, man. You got the Jordan Jumpman thing on the... You got the Jordan Jumpman thing right on the uniform. By the way, you guys see they put out that new movie about the establishment of Nike in Beaverton, Oregon, set in 1984 when they got Jordan, the story of getting Jordan from Converse and Adidas, how Nike lured him in. Again, right at the beginning of that movie, they bring up the name Dan Wyden. Dan Wyden, probably a name not known to a lot of people, but huge marketing guy, did the marketing for Nike. He came up with Just Do It for Nike. did the marketing for Coca-Cola. And yeah, again, funny thing, he's from here, Portland, Oregon, Dan Wyden. They mentioned him right at the beginning of the movie where he came up with Just Do It. And supposedly they say in the movie that Dan Wyden said it came from what was going on in Europe when they were executing people. They'd say, just do it. And, Dan Wyden died recently, right about the same time they started filming this movie. And he died 39 days. Died in a big 39 ritual. Nike has the Gematria 39. Nike 39. Saturn 93. Their swoosh is a ring of Saturn. But, yeah. Anyway, let's go out to 252. What's up, 252?
What's up, Zach? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. I just wanted to talk a little bit. One idea for you, I think you should probably include in your book is probably a little bit about the Goetia, maybe. Or maybe you should just not include in your book, but maybe talk more about it.
The 72 demons of the Goetia?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, I my last post before I did this show, I even briefly brought it up in the post. I over the weekend, I saw a friend that I haven't talked to for almost 10 years, and he asked me if I knew what happened a few years back to a local classmate of ours that we went to high school with, and I said, no, what happened? He said, oh, you didn't hear about that? I said, no, what happened? He said, they said it was a suicide, but he was found in the bottom of the Columbia River with weights attached to him. And the first thing I thought when I heard it is I said, this kid that this happened to is from a super wealthy family. His parents are both big in the medical world. But yeah, I know 72 was all over his death. I'll bring that up. I'll just talk about, I'll bring that up after the next segment. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. Definitely. I'm very interested in what you have to say about that because I was reading up on it. I don't know why I had just stumbled across the Lesser Key of Solomon and started reading about all of that. But yeah, I just really think there should be a lot more emphasis on the fact of how this is all being done, not only by code, but by some type of supernatural system. And that's apparent. Like, I mean, I know it does all boil down to speculation, but it's kind of apparent through what you documented and what I've documented just being here that there's something very sinister going on. And I mean, obviously we know their intentions are, but yeah, I think there should be a lot of focus on that and what these people are doing, because I mean, if there is some type of spiritual energy, warfare, magic, whatever they're doing, there's got to be another side to it. It can't be all bad. There's got to be another side to it. Not for us to use it, but there's got to be something for us to become more informed about this and not just let it walk right over our heads. Because even if it is all rigged and this and this and that, you can't really prove, you know what I mean? Like you can, most people will just think this is all natural. It should definitely
hold on. Save the thought, because the commercial break's starting right now. We'll continue right after this break.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Mr. President, you've been the big guy for 6 months now in the White House. Can you take us behind the scenes, something that was extraordinary or unusual that happened that stands out to you?
Here's the deal. I want to say, oh, I like to walk out on the road to go in. Come on. I like to walk out on the road to go in. You think I'm joking? I'm not. You know what I mean? I like to walk out on the road to go in. What do you think, huh? I like to walk out on the road to go in. If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or something, or whether those aliens are here or not, and you come up and say, I just don't like the way that guy wears his tie. It's like telling your kid, I can tell you what, you're 4 years old when you see a red light cross the street. I grew up in a neighborhood where you became a cop, a firefighter, or a priest. I wasn't qualified for any one of them. So here I am. And by the way, one of the things I've gotten able to get done, and that's what, let me finish the question. The answer. I want to say, oh, I like to walk out on the road to go in. Come on. I like to walk out on the road to go in. You think I'm joking? I'm not. You know what I mean? I like to walk out on the road to go in. What do you think, huh? I like to walk out on the road to go in. I mean, QAnon. The idea that the Democrats, Biden is hiding people and sucking the blood of children. And I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. The fact is, you may not like me, and that's your right. I'm sitting across from Putin. He knows who I am. Joe Biden.
What's that all about? You're the big man, I think.
Yay! I know who he is.
Love Putin.
But again, one last thing. We don't talk enough to you about this, I don't think. Here's the deal. I want to say, oh, I like to walk out on the road to go in. Come on. I like to walk out on the road to go in. You think I'm joking? I'm not. You know what I mean? I like to walk out on the road to go in. What do you think, huh? I like to walk out on the road to go in.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
The wicked one, obviously under heavy Masonic influence.
This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We're streaming this on YouTube. If you want to join us over there, there is a live conversation. Not that that's always a good idea. Thank you to everyone on YouTube who hits the like. It does help this information find new eyes and ears. And let's go back out to the caller from 252. He got interrupted by the break. He was talking about the Lesser Key of Solomon and the 72 demons of the Goetia. And go ahead, friend.
Yeah, but just piggybacking on my point. Yeah, there's obviously something sinister going on, and before we can put a stop to it, we have to learn. Like, there has to be knowledge. We wouldn't be able to put a stop to anything without the knowledge. And I think you said this before, but I really, really, really agree with this. Is that people don't value knowledge anymore. It's like most people won't even pick up the shortest book on how to improve their mind or just anything. It's a lack of value for knowledge. That's really what it is. Because, I mean, me being a curious person, I'm just, I want to seek out stuff in general, but I still feel like there should just be a natural, there should be a want for information like this. But anyways, yeah, there definitely should be more emphasis. I think you should talk more about how a lot of this going on isn't just conspiracy. It's also, I hate to use the word magic, but it's also, you know what I mean? It's also obviously something deeper. And one more point I wanted to make on how we could begin to put a stop to all this is infiltration. Like, we know, I'm pretty sure there's a good amount of people who know Freemasons. I know a bunch. My high school history teacher, his granddad was a Freemason, and he has access to thousands of books. There's tons of people with family members, uncles, aunts, and that are just kind of scared, or, you know, they don't want to mention this type of stuff, you know. But that's where it begins, because these are the people who have all the knowledge. And most of them don't know, but there are a lot of grandmasters who really know, who really know, and they won't say because they're too deep in by the time that they learn what's going on. But yeah, infiltration, that's got to be one of the key things that we have to do, or at least pull on their strings. You know what I mean? At least tell on them. You know, next time you see a Freemason, or, you know, your local, you know, history gym teacher, whatever it may be, ask them a couple questions. I mean, go up to them. I mean, the most these people can do is lie, and we're getting lied to anyway. So you might as well, you know, take your shot on somebody who will tell you something that they learned. Because one thing that I've learned, I had went and it was a TikTok live. Oh, by the way, before I get off this point, you should really get on TikTok. The amount of people you can reach up there, and there's a lot of BS conspiracy that goes on, obviously, but you should really, and I mean really, like, you should really get on TikTok, because the algorithm might not be your friend, but a few people up there will, and I think that matters.
Well,
a lot.
you know, it was funny. I started a TikTok account, and I had a video on there that right away got over 100,000 views, and then after that, I couldn't get any views. Couldn't get any views on the TikTok account anymore, and it kind of felt just like the algorithm clamping down. But I should get back on there because it's good for short videos, and it is still another audience. So yeah, I appreciate that reminder.
Really, I really think you should, because I mean, obviously, me being young, I'm not really too caught up in adult life. I do spend a lot of time on TikTok and other things like that, and I know that there's a good amount of information that goes on around there. But yeah, I just really want people to really take a good look at how we can get into this. We can really, you know, stop. I don't want to say stop, but, you know, like, really at least learn about this and get it out there. Like I said, there's lots of opportunities, more than just pounding pavement and getting out there. There's a lot of small opportunities that we may not realize that we have to come across the truth and uncover some things. And I encourage everyone, instead of waiting on some spoon-fed information, to get on your phone and just go look it up. It's so simple. These people who preach about this stuff like this, like you, I'm pretty sure you weren't born with this knowledge. You did your research as anybody else did. So that's what I want to end my call on, is just really encouraging people to do their own research, to go out there, find this knowledge before you do anything, and just really take a good approach at this.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. Okay. I wasn't going to talk about this in the show again. I found out about this news this past weekend, but this actually happened back in 2019. The man who died, we're in the same high school class. Again, the high school we went to had over 2,000 people at it. I did not know him. I never even had a class with him in high school, but I knew his sister. His sister was a grade above us. I had a couple classes with her. She was, you know, young, and just, she's older than me, but I liked his sister a lot. She was really friendly, had a great bubbly personality, you know, just, his sister was a really cool person. And when I was going back and reading these articles, I was feeling bad because his sister's like pleading when he was, the man who was found dead, he was missing for a number of days, and the sister was in the papers, you know, being quoted saying, you know, we've been training for the marathon, we're supposed to go out to Detroit Lake, which is a local, you know, a nice place that people go out and camp and spend the day at the lake. And anyway, she was just saying that there's no, like, he wouldn't, again, you could just see in the articles that the sister's in disbelief at whatever's happened. Please help us. Let's find my brother. So I totally missed this. Again, I'm out of the loop. I don't really keep in contact with anybody from my high school, middle school days. Pretty much everybody 86'd me in 2013. So I did not hear about this, even though this was a high school classmate. But the other thing I thought about, besides his sister, when I heard this, is they're from a very wealthy family. Out of all the people we went to high school with, they're one of the wealthiest families. They have a really nice home down on the river and just, money. Both parents are doctors. The parents were older. So, anyway, I just wanted to look into it. Weird story, found in the river with weights attached to his body. I mean, they said he rode his bike down to the park and disappeared, so I'm just imagining what that would look like. So, like, what the story is that he rode his bike. They said it was a suicide. And we'll get to the funny thing about it, them reporting it as a suicide, the authorities. But I'm just imagining it. He rides his bike with weights down to the park and then straps the weights to himself and then goes and drowns in the river. I mean, it doesn't sound right. And, normally with this stuff, we're talking about celebrity. Again, this is a young guy from a wealthy family. And when I started to look at it, just what was in the obituary, he disappeared on June 27th. That's the day leaving 187 days left in the year. Homicide code, right? But they didn't pronounce him dead until the day they found his body in the river, which was July 1st, 2019. That was 56 days after his 5/6 birthday. So his full name, interesting, Leif, I never knew his middle name. I always knew him as Leif, but Leif Erik Vigeland. Kind of like Leif Erikson, right? The Viking. And they're of Norwegian heritage, so it makes sense. But Leif Erik Vigeland, 86, like Columbia River, like blood sacrifice, like human sacrifice, right? Fateful Gematria. And then the day he disappeared, June 27th, I've talked about that day a lot over the years with suspicious news and death. Again, it's the day leaving 187 days left in the year, homicide code. But also, the day that they pronounced him dead and said it was a suicide. And again, found in the river with weights strapped to his body. July 1st, 2019. Date with 47 numerology. Suicide has this Gematria 47. We've talked about this number in suspicious suicides many times over the years. Here's a more local story. He was 36 years old and found dead in the river. River has the Gematria 36 forwards and backwards. Again, they pronounced him dead 56 days after his 5/6 birthday. Society of Jesus, 56, 187, right? The Jesuits, we see this in celebrity, the child dying from the child of the wealthy, successful family, the wealthy, successful father. Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions because I don't have enough information here. And again, this isn't like the world of celebrity where it's just one after the next. But in a way, this is a wealthy family. I was looking into his father. His father's a little bit older than the mother. They're both doctors. The father officially got his medical license in 68. I just thought, that's funny, 68. I wonder if somehow he could have become part of, something more sinister with all the agendas going on in 68. And keep in mind, again, the year coronavirus is coined 68. This is up in Washington State where the coronavirus pandemic came out of. Not too far from Seattle, Washington. Seattle huge with the pandemic. Anyway, what else is weird about this is his body was found in Tidewater Cove, the area of the river. Tidewater Cove, Gematria 150 and 201. Huge Illuminati numbers, huge Jesuit numbers. So I'm just looking at all this and I'm going, wow, 56 days after his 5/6 birthday, disappeared 187th day, the portion of the river where he's found is this. And then, it's just like when my friend was telling me about it, who I haven't talked to in forever, but saw him this past weekend. He's like, I mean, isn't that weird? A suicide, but weights are strapped to him. And I didn't look at the dates or anything or talk to him about this, but I actually just looked at this for the first time today. And just the caller a couple minutes ago talking about the Goetia and the 72 demons of the Goetia. The day that this happened, the day that he disappeared, June 27th, 2019, that was a date with 72 numerology. The authorities confirmed his death July 1st, but that didn't make the headlines until July 2nd, 7/2. And what is the there's that weird horror movie. It's on one of the streaming services, Hereditary. And if you've never seen that movie, again, that movie is just another look into the occult. At the beginning of the family, a wealthier woman dies, and then her family finds out that she was part of a cult that was trying to bring back one of these demons from the Goetia through human ritual sacrifice. It's an interesting, dark, and creepy movie. And then I'll just tell you the other thing that just weirded me out about this. His sister, who I knew, who you know, she was just out of all the girls that I knew in high school, just always just really nice personality, nice to be around, pleasant, positive, made you feel good, you know, big smile, funny. I just see now she has a different last name because she's married. And I was just like, I was weirded out by what her new name equals in the article. I was just like, I don't even want to start making assumptions. But I don't think she's responsible for her brother's death. The one thing that's interesting reading the articles is they said that Leif was living with his brother, and his brother said the last time he saw him was at 4 a.m., right? And that's in the article. And I'm just like, okay. 4 a.m., like, we know what 4 is, right? 4 is the number of death. We talk about it all the time. So the brother's quote, the last time he saw him was 4 a.m. It just, I mean, maybe organically it worked out that way, but that part of me is going... Again, the big thing is, how you going to be found dead from a suicide with weights strapped to your body in the river? And then the sister just in the paper saying, doesn't make any sense. He's having a great time. Life's going great for him. We're training for a marathon. We're going out to Detroit Lake today. How does he just disappear? And then I just think about, again, just wealth, money, the ruling class, wealthy, powerful, knowledge most people don't have. Stuff like this going on for the people who aren't as fortunate in the family. So, anyhow, R.I.P. to Leif and all the other people that have gone prematurely. And yeah, sadly, his legacy gets to be that he killed himself by suicide, right? And that's the official story. Most people just nod their head to the official story. Yeah, it's just like my buddy. And the guy who was telling me about this, he's somebody who also stopped talking to me back in 2013. We didn't really talk a whole lot about my work, but at the same time, I got the idea that maybe he's been paying attention. Maybe he was even hinting that I should look into this. But, yeah, as soon as I looked, I said, what do you know? What do you know? Just like how my buddy had his eyebrow up saying, I don't know, can you strap weights to yourself and commit suicide and do it from the shore where your bike is found? I don't know. Sounds like another story that doesn't quite make sense, but the numbers all add up. And it's a reminder that this, we've had people calling over the years just, talking about the weird stuff that happened in their community. It's a reminder this stuff, that these networks, they are out there. And while there is an organic side of the code, again, there's a sinister order out there. And this looks exactly like what we're usually talking about in the world of celebrity. So the one connection with that family is money. All right, let's go out to 562. What's up, 562?
Hey, Zach, last week I couldn't take your call, but listen, that thing I told you about sending in the P.O. box, I'll email you when I do it, and I got till the end of the month, okay? I didn't want you to think I was blowing you off or anything, but at the end of the month, I'll email you when I put it in.
Okay, by the way, I did set up forwarding from my P.O. box to my house, and so far since I did that, which was at the end of March, I have not gotten a single letter from my P.O. box. So I went back and checked in the post office, and I did ask them. They said the forwarding's set up. It should be coming. It's possible that I haven't gotten a single letter that sent to my P.O. box since the end of March, but that would be about the longest I've ever been without getting a letter. If anybody wants to send me a letter to my P.O. box, don't put money in it or anything, but just I'll let anybody know if a letter shows up here. I have not seen a single letter since I set up forwardings from my P.O. box, just a FYI.
Okay, well, I can get a hold of you with the GematriaEffectNews at Gmail, right?
Yeah, you can, indeed.
Okay, then I'll do that, and then you can tell me where to send it before the end of the month, and then you can make that video for me, all right?
Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Let's go out to 347. What's up, Ashley?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm all right. Working away.
Oh, man, I've been checking in on you for a couple of weeks straight, but like you had a lot of calls. I came in late.
Well, I appreciate you always checking in. I know you're always out there, Ashley. And again, for people who forget, Ashley came out and pounded payment with us in New York. Thank you again.
Yeah. Yeah, so everything going good, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. I'm still working on getting some new guys into this thing, but I have to deal with younger people, man. Big grown folks, it's like they can't believe what I'm telling them. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
They're so much into sports. I'm telling you.
They are. That's the other place we got to be out all the time. The sports game, trying to wake up these sports fans. So.
But I think what I gotta start doing, I gotta start betting on them games and show them. Say, see, you can win money. So that will draw them attention.
Indeed.
Well, everything else is good, man. I'm still,
Okay, you gonna come out for 9/11 next year? You coming out for 9/11?
Yeah. That's for sure.
Okay, I look forward to that.
Yeah, that's definite.
All right.
No doubt about that.
Okay, I'll have a new book for you when I come there.
All right.
All right, Ashley, it's great to hear from you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. You have a good night, friend. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Take care. All right. Ashley's always loyal. And by the way, shout out to the Super Chatter. Pointed out that Colorado Springs just elected their first ever black mayor as the 42nd mayor. And he's from Nigeria. Nigeria sounds a lot like the N-word. Of course, N-word has that gematria 42, like slavery, like Tuskegee, like the number connected to all kinds of black history, from Jackie to the bus to February. But 42nd mayor, first black mayor. We've seen rituals like that across this country. That's not a first. Thank you for that observation. I appreciate that. I'll look more into it. Michigan, 810.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
How you doing? So you asked about Trump. I don't think I can name 5 things, but the 2 things that stick out the most for me was warp speed.
Yes.
And Fauci. Okay, I guess it's 3. And then after the 2020 election, and he was out there stumping, and I heard a radio interview, and he said, yeah, get everybody, you need to get the vaccine. It's great. I got it. Everybody get it. And everybody starts booing.
He said that in South Dakota in front of Mount Rushmore. And
that might have been what I heard on. It was a radio,
it was
playback.
That was it. He got a lot of negative feedback.
He says in this, I'm telling you, I swear I thought he was a Jew. When he said it, he says in this Jewish little sly ass voice, he says, "Yeah, you got those rights. You got those rights."
Right.
And it just slapped me in the face like, oh shit, man. They're right. Everybody's right, And did you know that both of his wives were Jews? The mother of his children are Jews. His sons.
As you bring that up, as you bring that up, yes, a huge Jewish connection with Trump. And again, he was in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day. And do you remember where he went from Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day? Do you remember where he traveled to next?
Didn't he go to Saudi Arabia?
I got to double check to see if that was part of the trip. Maybe it was, but he went to the Vatican from Israel. He was posted next to the Pope on May 24th, 2017.
Yeah, right. There's a connection there for sure.
Yeah.
And I know I pointed this out before. I don't know which son, but look, the daughter's married to Jared Kushner. He's like the king of the Jews in New York. And Benny Netanyahu, whenever he comes to New York, he stays in their house. And he's got that address in Manhattan, that 666 address. And one of the sons, Donald Trump Jr. or the other one, his fiance or girlfriend is Gavin Newsom's ex-wife, the Jew. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Indeed, you cannot. And yeah, so again, I think that's probably close to the top 5. You're right. The jab thing is a huge one. World Economic Forum, Switzerland banker deal, Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day with the Pope. Again, that's a top 5 right there, and there's a lot more you could add on to it, but those are 5 good examples that he is totally part of the New World Order cabal.
Right, and isn't his son Barron? Wasn't he jab? He's got like Asperger's or not Down, but he got messed up from a jab, is from what I understand. And so they said that when Trump was running his first time, everybody said how aware he was of how bad vaccines were. And I thought for sure, I believed that when I heard it, and obviously it came out of Alex Jones, and then when he jumped on that warp speed, that just was like, okay, that was a big tell. Now back to your high school friend there, parents, both parents are doctors, okay? A lot of suicide comes from people that are on those SSRIs. And a lot of doctors prescribe their children on those SSRIs. Now, you said he was training for a marathon, didn't you?
That's what happened when he was found drowned.
Well, now, runners, my mentor, Doc Wallach, I'm a nutritional health coach, and I have been for quite a while. I'm very well trained by the foremost leading expert in nutrition. And he says exercise without supplementation is suicide. Now, he's got a video, a CD, it's called Dead Athletes Don't Lie.
Hold on, we got a commercial break. We'll be right back. Okay. Say that thought.
Sometimes shift.
It's not that easy to pay the price if you can't see the promise. But all of us wouldn't mind paying the price if we could have a clear view of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. If we had the high assurance with great probability of how it's going to work out, do you think we would hesitate to pay? The answer is no. But everybody hesitates to pay if the future isn't clear. But we can pay if we can see. My karate instructor said, Mr. Rohn, you cannot believe the incredible feeling of walking down any city street unafraid. I said, let's get on with the classes. Hey, I will sweat. I will put myself through the paces, right? What would we do for an extraordinary promise? Answer, the most unbelievable things. Would you crack the books? Would you burn the midnight oil? Would you engage in the extra thoughts and the extra disciplines if the promise was adequate? And the answer is, of course. course. But who wants to read? Who wants to burn the midnight oil? Who wants to put themselves through the paces if the promise isn't clear? Important. Price and promise.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Gio, founder of Truth Frequency Radio and host of Beyond the Veil. The mainstream media and establishment are running scared right now, and they've prominently featured truthfrequencyradio.com as number 89 on the federal government's hit list, also known as the fake news list, which is essentially a list of sites slated for censorship on Facebook, YouTube, Google, and other social media. Now is the time for you to get involved. Share your favorite TFR shows far and wide on forums and social media. Tell your friends and family about your favorite shows. If you're a business owner, get in touch with us to feature your product or service right here on TFR. And if you haven't done so already, become a TFR supporter now and get unlimited commercial-free downloads in high quality. Visit truthfrequencyradio.com/sign-up. Thank you for making TFR the leader in independent and uncensored talk radio. Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Jim Ram, retired. In early 2012, I was facing a laundry list of chronic health conditions that my physician was telling me were incurable. I knew there had to be a better way, and I learned how I could reverse every one of my ailments with science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. In just a few months, I was able to reverse high blood pressure, gastric reflux, sleep apnea, arthritis, degenerative disc disease, heart arrhythmia, AFib, and many more. And I've lost over 70 pounds and kept it off. Now I'm hosting a radio program that's dedicated to helping my listeners do the same. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick of being used as an ATM by your doctor, then you'll want to tune into the Your DIY Health radio program here on Truth Frequency Radio every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern and 6 to 8 a.m. Pacific.
No hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. Again, we got interrupted by the break. Let's go back out to the caller, and he is back on.
Yeah, that commercial there, Jim Ram, Your DIY Health. He is a colleague of mine. We're good friends, and you know he's a health coach as well. We do the same thing, and you can check out his website. He does good work, and he's got a lot of links to Doc's videos. And anyway, you know, when you run, runners die very young because they sweat out a soup of nutrients. All their minerals are in that sweat, and they're not taught to replenish those minerals. You know, you got Gatorade with there's 2 or 3 minerals in that. It's expired saline solution. That's where Gatorade came from. A hospital was going to throw away all this expired saline solution, and they thought, I wonder if we can sell it. If we add some flavoring to it and we give it to the Florida Gators football team, let's see how they like it. And they liked it, and that's where Gatorade came from. And, you know, people think they can be healthy drinking that stuff. And, you know, you need Doc's proven. You need 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids. And they are the building blocks of life, the raw materials the body needs to do what it's supposed to do, heal itself. The body was designed to heal itself. If it doesn't have those raw materials, it can't do what it's supposed to do. And when you are an athlete and you're not replenishing those nutrients, especially the minerals, you're dead. You know, your career's over. You know, football players, I think it's about 61 or 65 years old that they live to. And, you know, they're some of the healthiest people on the planet, but they die the youngest. And runners die even younger. So I think your friend may have actually, you know, and who knows? I know a lot of kids that I grew up with, their parents were either nurses or doctors, and almost all of them were on Ritalin, you know, because the parents couldn't handle the kids because they were normal boys and full of energy, and they drugged them up, man. And they kind of went off haywire after that. So,
yeah,
that's all I got.
All right. Well, I appreciate that information and that history. Very interesting.
Okay. Thanks, Zach. You keep up the good work, and I appreciate your call.
All right. Thank you. I put up the Gatorade ingredients on the screen if anybody wants to take a look and do a deeper dive on what they're putting in that Gatorade. Let's go out to 661.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Zach. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you, first of all, just preface this by something that I heard. It was either Albert Pike said or it was Manly P. Hall quoting him. But he said when the Freemason reveals something, he is not telling you the truth. In essence, is what I'm just paraphrasing. He's not telling you the truth. He is reveiling something. In other words, we go through this life with these false veils over everything. Like everything has an artificial veil to it it's by some degree. So people can't see the truth. And when the Freemason reveals something to you, he's just reveiling it. He's taking that veil off and he's reveiling it with another veil in a different way, still hiding the truth from you. So the one caller that mentioned we should talk to these Freemasons and infiltrate them, I would say talk to someone who has given up Freemasonry and is calling them out and exposing it, rather than talk to a Freemason, because you never know if you're getting the truth.
Sure.
So now that was just a preface. But as far as the Russell Trust, I would like to just reiterate, and I've said this before, and I don't know if you remember, but many people might not know that the founder of Skull and Bones, one of the founders, was Alphonse Taft. Alphonse Taft, his great-grandson or grandson was William Howard Taft, who was president. The Taft family is pretty much the biggest political dynasty family. If you go look at their Wikipedia page, you're going to find attorneys general, you're going to find governors, mayors all throughout the country, especially in the East. High schools all over the country named Taft, of course. But what's interesting is that the Secretary of Agriculture was a man named Ezra Taft Benson. He was the Secretary of Agriculture, I believe, in the 50s or 60s. Now, this man became the president of the Mormon Church. And what's interesting about that is that the founder of the Jehovah's Witness was, I think, William Taze Russell. His tombstone is a pyramid, and he's basically related to the Russell from the Russell Trust. He's related to him. So the founder of Jehovah's Witnesses, and then the Mormon prophet that has, or the Mormon president that has ties to the Taft family, Alphonse Taft from Skull and Bones, who became the president of the church. Now I'm bringing it full circle to Russell, because the current president of the Mormon Church, his name is Russell M. Nelson. And the Mormon Church just did a ritual a little while ago, and I don't think it was real. I think it was just a kind of like a tribute that all these big companies, even the churches, these stars that have to do these shaming rituals right now, a lot of it is, as you have shown, it is a ritual as a tribute to the coronation of the king. And also as loyalty to the Pope and the Catholic Church. and I believe the whole SEC scandal from the Mormon Church, where they paid out a fine, because that was $32 billion that they were hiding supposedly. I believe that was just a show.
Sure, I would agree.
Yeah, so and very interesting, the ties with the Mormons and the Masons, because Joseph Smith was a Mormon, the founder of the church, and Brigham Young was a Mason, and in Missouri, when they started the church there, Brigham Young had the temple built. He had it dedicated on May 1st, and Brigham Young wore a bloodstone that he received that at one point belonged to Captain Cook. So there's a lot of deep Illuminati Freemasonic ties with the Mormon Church, and what's going on right now, I'll get off here, I'm kind of diatribing here, but what's going on right now, and maybe you could research into the Mormons, the Gematria a little bit, I don't know. But what's going on right now is the Mormon Church is probably the third, if they were a private corporation, they would be the third biggest holder of investments and land and money. They own the entire ranch that's around Cape Canaveral where SpaceX does these fake rocket launches.
Sure.
They have the NSA servers in Utah. So people need to take the Mormon Church very seriously, because the Mormon Church at one point was in a war with the United States government. And the United States government was basically busting them for human trafficking, because they were bringing women over from Scandinavia and England and basically forcing them marriage into polygamous marriages, which polygamy was illegal in the country. So there's a lot to it. I'm not going to go on much more, but just food for thought. And I just want to say I love your show. I was at Venice. I was in LA. I appreciate you coming down. I mean, that just meant so much to me, and my few friends that actually listened to me and let me talk to them about this kind of stuff. It was epic, We kind of got bombarded by that wannabe David Lee Roth impersonator.
Right.
But other than that, you were killing it. It was so great to watch, because I went home and watched the whole Santa Monica Pier and the Hollywood, and it was just epic, and I just really appreciate it. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to bring more people when I come.
Very cool.
If you come out again for Kobe Bryant. So I just want to say thank you. Great show. Great callers. And I'm not going against the guy about the Masons. That guy's right on. I love his approach, and his information was awesome. I just want to make that little side note point. But thanks a lot. Have a great night.
Yeah, appreciate it. Look forward to next time. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, very cool. Come out for all of our things. Bring your friends and family. Shout out to Victor in the chat. He brought out his whole family for New York. All right, let's go out to Yusuf 248.
This is Zach.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? I want to make a couple points about Trump.
Okay.
Okay, some of the things that Trump has said before, I've heard him say, Israel rightfully owns our Congress.
Okay.
You ever heard him say that? He called into a Zionist radio show host, and he said, he was basically saying that that Israel doesn't own our Congress anymore because of Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and the squad basically took it over somehow, which I don't buy. But he said 10 years ago, Israel rightfully owned our Congress and blah blah blah, and now they don't anymore. I'm like, how is this America first when you're saying that a foreign government should own our Congress? I mean, that just tells you right there who he is. And then here's another one. I also found some connections with him in the Freemasons. His pastor was Norman Vincent Peale, the author of Power of Positive Thinking. He named him as his pastor when Frank Luntz, who was a pollster for Fox News, asked him, if he believed in God or if he has been, if he's apologized, for things he's done to God and whatever. And he named Norman Vincent Peale as his pastor. And if you look at Norman Vincent Peale, he's a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. And then you also have when BLM and Antifa were tearing down the statues in 2020, he requested that the Albert Pike statue be restored. Then I also have here Wilbur Ross and the Rothschilds, how he's connected to them also, because when his casinos went belly up in the early 90s, Wilbur Ross kind of brokered the deal. You know, he was an attorney for the Rothschilds, and he brokered the deal between Trump and the Rothschilds to bail them out to a tune of nearly $1 billion, I believe. And then he turns around when he became president, he made Wilbur Ross his Secretary of Commerce.
Right.
Then also things that concern me as well is that he said that he wants to build 10 freedom cities. Remember that about a couple months ago. He came out and said he wants to build 10 freedom cities, which is, you know, the smart cities, which is the 2030 agenda. And then he laid out some bullshit recently, I think, on the CNN town hall, and said he'll end the Ukraine and Russia war in one day.
Right. Just like Reagan ended the Iranian hostage crisis the day he came in.
Right. So these are some things I think we need to look into. Maybe connect Gematria, you know, with Norman Vincent Peale and Wilbur Ross and Albert Pike to Donald Trump.
Sure. Yeah, that could all be done. Those are more good examples. There's a lot of examples to paint the picture of who Trump really is. And so many people do not know these things. They'd probably have a different opinion if they did. So I appreciate that.
I mean, yeah, even when you tell them the things, like, it goes over their head. Like, okay, I'm like, okay, fine. Look, I don't have to get into gematria with them, but it's like, okay, just get into these facts with them. And it's just, they're like, no, he's fighting the deep state and blah, blah, blah. Right. You support Biden if you don't like Trump.
That's exactly what they start doing. Exactly what they start doing. They start accusing you of being a Biden supporter. It's like, nope.
Yeah, that's all you a show. They're like, oh, you like Biden. Oh, go Kamala, go Biden. Oh, you
right. You have to make the point that no. What I'm trying to say is that both sides of the aisle are controlled by the same thing, and a game's being played with us, and we need to see through that game, or it's going to be to our detriment.
Yeah. Exactly. And I was like, okay, you're in you think you're awake. Like, they think they're awake. That's the real fucked up part. Is they think they're awake. I'm like, no, you're asleep. You're deep asleep. You're still believing in this matrix. You're still believing in this bullshit. That he's actually going to take down the deep. There are people that think, oh, him and the military are going to take down the deep state. They believe in this QAnon shit, and it's just ridiculous. It's not happening. And they're listening to some of these shills on BitChute and Rumble and God knows all this BS that's out there right now. It's really bad. There's a lot of crap in alternative media. They think, okay, they've replaced mainstream media, the garbage. They're starting to realize that that's garbage, but then they replaced it with this alt media, which is just as garbage as mainstream media.
Yeah.
And you replace crap with crap.
Indeed.
There is so much crap, and now you have the censorship is getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. We'll be lucky if this episode lasts very long. They've been taking down a lot of old TFR episodes on my other channels. So.
Yeah. Does Rumble and BitChute censor you as much as YouTube does?
You know, BitChute, for the longest time, I couldn't upload my videos, but lately I've been able to upload and they just don't get any views. So BitChute's definitely on some kind of censorship, and I haven't been real persistent on Rumble, but I haven't had any luck so far with any videos getting good views on there. I got to become more persistent though. So.
Yeah, they're based. Both of them are actually based in different countries. I don't know if people know this, but Rumble's actually based in Canada, and BitChute, I think, is based in the UK.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, take care. Okay. 720, you're on.
Hey, Zach, what's going on? How you doing? How's your family?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
All right. Well, I called I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. Keep things in reality. And remember, I said you exposed a lot of the dark side, brother. But like I said, how's you and your sweet old lady doing? Are you calling your mom? How's your family doing? Make things that count in life too. You know what I mean? Take time, take a piece of life, and do that. You'll feel much better about yourself.
Okay. Appreciate it, man.
So
Thank
that's the
you.
seed I want to sow to you. Yeah, well, that's the seed I want to sow to you. But brother, like I said, it's a real gesture. You know what I mean? Because we live day by day, week by week. And I remember it said at the end of the day, who cares about who swings a baseball bat, who throws a basketball, or who swings a hockey stick, right?
Well, a lot of people care about those things a lot more than things they should actually care about. So,
Zach, you said it right there. And that's what I say. Day by day, have a quality of life, what counts in your life. You know what I mean?
for a lot of people, though,
And I gotta
sadly,
tell
they're
you-
in a frame of mind where the only thing that's really quality in their life is the time they get to sit down and watch the ball game or sit down and do something else entertainment related. People are so addicted to entertainment. I mean, if you could look at what all the children are doing right now in the nation, how many of them would be playing video games as opposed to putting knowledge in their head? And really, it starts at a young age and it goes through all of life. Just the addiction to entertainment, favoring entertainment, making their whole life about entertainment. So, I mean, that's the big thing about what we're competing with too. We can't get any knowledge out because people just want to be entertained. We're out in Buffalo trying to put out information, and we can't even be heard because the church is out there blasting Jesus music. And sadly, that's not doing anything. So, anyway, I do appreciate what you're saying. Got to enjoy time with your life, family. That's another part of life. That's also part of why we're here. I do agree. But we're almost out of show, friend, and we got a couple more people who I want to let in. But thank you for always being there and giving us a good piece of advice. You have a good night. All right, let's go out to 850. 850, you're on. $850, Florida.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Hey.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you for
Hey,
your very generous
sorry.
donation. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad I got it working because, I don't know how that stuff works. Hey, this is really interesting tonight. And I don't usually call in, but I really thought it was great that you even consider going to Atlanta. And so that's why I did the thing. A little bit helps, right?
I appreciate that. So thank you. I will make it to
yeah.
Atlanta.
Good. Okay. In the meantime, there's several things that have come up that are way back in the day because I'm like back in the 50s and 60s. But there's things that are coming up here that are reappearing, and one of them being recently one of your callers about what's going on out in Utah and with the what we used to call the John Birch Society. Okay, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but with the Masonic thing, the John Birch Society back in the 80s or 70s. They had all this stuff already figured out in Arizona, where my aunt lived, and we all thought she was a crackpot, but now I find out she wasn't. It's like the truth shall set you free. And it's amazing that it's taken this long for the fruition of it, and for for what you are saying. I'm just overwhelmed, and it's hard for somebody like me because we're brought up in a certain way and we're programmed, and yet here we are, and it's really so different, Zach. I mean, I'm just in awe of what I've written to you. I'm going to be 73, but from what happened, and my aunt always said back in the day when I was 3 years old, it's too bad you have to go to school and have the veneer of society basically planted on you. I didn't understand that, but I love my aunt, and she was one of the reasons why I'm talking to you. I mean, we were just crushed back in the 60s. I mean, it's crazy. But we need to get this stuff out. for anybody, and there are people, I do believe now, that are finally waking up. It might be too late, but at least they're awake. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, all progress is progress. Yeah, I agree with your thought.
But for my aunt, I mean, she was born in 1912. I mean, 100 years ago, she was born and she was brought up that way, and she saw somehow what was happening, and she saw the quote, and I'll never forget this. When I was 4, we were down at a little lake, and we were looking at tadpoles and, you know, really nature things. And she said, "It's a shame that you have to go to school to put the veneer," that was the word that she used, the veneer of society on you. In other words, before that happened, I don't know if you've ever had this happen, or you're anybody that's there thinking, okay, I'm a nut, but I'm not. When I was younger, like age 4, 3, 2, I can remember in my dreams, I would fly. I could fly above the earth. I flew in my dreams. After I went to school, and I was in school for about 2 years, I would never fly again. I just, you know, I try to fly because I loved flying in my dreams, and I'd jump like, let me say this, Superman. I could jump to fly, and I might be jumped up to fly, and then I'd try to just, you know, swim, and I'd come back to Earth. And that's what I think they've done to us, whatever. You know, that's what happened. I would love to know how many people ever had those experiences of having, you know, back in the day, and I don't know how old they are, maybe they have to be old, but I could fly, and it was beautiful, and it was wonderful. And then after I got institutionalized by grade 2, it got harder and harder, and now I can't fly, although I have to say, a couple of years ago, I did a quickie. I was lucky, but that was really interesting. You can't fly.
Right.
Yeah, you want to fire me? Go ahead. But it's true.
Indeed. Well, Barbara, we're almost out of show. We got 20 seconds left. How do you want to close us out tonight? What are the last 20 seconds we should put out for the people listening?
I want everybody listening to this show right now just to really look into themselves and look at their essences and think, are you a real person? Are you really here, you know, for everything that means anything? Or are you just here for having an extra McDonald's burger or whatever? You need to support this message, because this message is the only thing that makes any sense, even though they've tried to tell you it doesn't make sense. It's the only thing that will save us. And Zach is heading it. And you need to get behind Zach, and we need to do it and save ourselves.
Thank you, Barbara. That's the end of the show, everyone. I appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't control the music or the commercials on TFR. The music's through the thing I just cut off, which connects me to the show. And then that drops me from the call board. But appreciate the new callers this week. Thank you to everyone who hit the like and share. We're at 240 likes. There's 400 people in the room. If everybody hit the like who's here, we'd jump up to at least 400 likes, probably more than that. And again, you guys, just simple thing to do. Anytime you enter somebody's live stream who you want to help promote their message, just hit the like. Yeah, Google will take them away. They'll probably suppress the like count, but the more people that hit it, the bigger the number is going to be. The bigger the number is, the more likely more strangers find the video, the information, the content. And again, I want to say thank you to Larry and Jeremiah. They are both supporting the big tier that I made, the travel team tier. They're the first 2 people on there. And again, I'll say this: if we can get 8 more people on that travel tier before the end of the month, I think that'll give me a little support to make a plea with Sweet Lady about a flight, perhaps for a day out to Atlanta. Pound payment with the Atlanta Truth Seekers. A lot of people I'd like to meet down there. And, Jay with Open Eyes, he's one of our young truth seekers in the community who's in Atlanta. I'd like to see him in person and just give him some encouragement in the flesh. He's always making interesting videos, but he puts out a lot of cries for help. He's a young guy, and a few times he's talked about how he has all these suicidal thoughts. And it's easy to have those being awake living in this world. It can be depressing. That's also part of the reason it's good to get out and meet people and be in the flesh, because there's a human component to it. It reminds you you're not alone, and you're not what. Again, I mean, just for looking into what's going on in the world and asking questions and going against the mainstream narratives. I mean, you can get a lot of slack, to say the least, from society, and it can put you in a dark place. So that's a big part about getting out there and connecting and linking up and making new friends, your new truth seeker family. So shout out to Barbara. Barbara's texted away since the call ended. And no, you didn't embarrass me, Barbara. Great call. Shout out to Sarah Sutherland. Sarah Sutherland always sending those generous cash apps. And thank you, Sarah. I appreciate her donation. I know she's also stopped donating as much, which I'm also happy about, because I'm always saying, Sarah, stop donating so much. I think she finally took my advice. I do appreciate that, because, again, I do wish we had more resources, but I don't want all the resources to come from just a small group of people. I feel like anytime I said that, Sarah would feel like she needs to donate, and she doesn't need to donate anymore. But yeah, I do wonder. It's just amazing to me in the information age. When everybody's got pretty much the internet in their pocket, and hundreds of millions of people have just been subjected to one of the most obvious fascist agendas there ever was, and still they haven't caught they haven't woken up to what time it is. Somehow they haven't gotten the message. Sometimes they haven't heard that there's people out here exposing what's really going on. Humanity needs to be coming together through knowledge and information and working together to stop the cabal that rules over us. We've identified who that cabal is. All roads do lead to Rome, and of course, historically, they go back to Greece and then to Egypt and then to Babylon. But right now, Rome rules, and the Roman Catholic Church is very much at the heart of what's going on in the world. Everyone needs to know that. Every good Catholic out there needs to know that. Maybe they'd stop putting money in the plate on the weekend. Maybe they'd find a new spiritual avenue. But that's what needs to happen. People need to wake up to what's going on. Their behaviors need to change. Their actions need to change. Supporting these religious institutions, these government institutions, these education institutions. These are all the things indoctrinating and enslaving humanity. These banking institutions too, but I mean, it's hard for me to preach about that one, because then I'm being a hypocrite. I mean, I do have my money in banks and credit unions. It's hard not to in this financial world, but yeah, the day that we can stop living under the system that we do live under, the oppressive system that is, it'll make it easier for us who do compromise ourselves in some ways. I mean, in a way, everybody who's on this stream right now is somewhat helping the beast system, if you will. We probably all have an internet connection. We're helping out big tech, big telecom. I mean, these are the things ruling over us, but all things a double-edged sword too, right? Because of these outlets, it gives us a chance to reach millions of people with our message, which was something that was a lot easier to do, 5-6 years ago, before the censorship went to a whole new level. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling here at the end. Thank you everyone thank you again to everyone who hit the like and the share. Let me also say thank you to the super chatters tonight. Let me pull up the super chatter list again. And the thing about the super chats is I don't know if the money even makes it here. It's talking about all the funny business that's gone on lately. Very generous people, but somehow the money for the month went down. Anyhow, shout out to John Mendoza, Deezer, Divine Lion, Barbara, Amanda Kraus, Eloy Garcia, Barbara again, that's Luna Rostra. Thank you. You were all the donors during the show, and it is much appreciated. And thank you again to everyone who supports the Patreon. We're still well below 5,000. The Patreon was never, once it had built up to that 5,000 mark, it never went back down before there until I went out and started pounding pavement, and now it's just been below there constantly. Again, a year ago at this time, before I went out to Buffalo, it's about 1 year since I went out to Buffalo, we were at 6,500 people. So there's 2,000 less people supporting the work right now, and it does hurt. That was 2,000 more $1 pledges a month. And we need to get the resources back up to get the traveling back up. So, what's up, DK?
Keep talking. I love the rant. Or you think I'm a minute behind, so you're probably done.
Yeah, I'm done.
That's my favorite part is the opening monologues, which usually may have a rant within it, and then the rant that comes toward the middle or the end. Those are like my two favorite parts of probably like every stream that I listen to anyway.
All right. Well, what's on your mind tonight?
Before I forget, because I didn't write any of this down, can you bring up the dude that was wearing cement boots on the bottom of the lake?
Yeah, his name is Leif Vigeland, and again, he was only 36 years old and supposedly a suicide after disappearing on the day, leaving 187 days. But yeah, weights were found strapped to him.
Look at his full name.
Leif Erik Vigeland, like Leif Erikson, but what did you see in it?
Right, exactly. And what's the last name?
Vigeland.
You know what Leif Erikson is famous for?
What is it?
Establishing the city of what's called Vineland, but it was originally spelled like that dude's last name.
And that's Norway, right? Yeah, because they are a Norwegian family, so huge tribute.
That's the one. That's the first one in America.
I see.
In Newfoundland. So Leif Erikson's dad is Eric the Red. So his name isn't Leif Erikson, it's Leif, Eric's son. So his dad was Eric the Red, who established, they're pirates, they're these Khazarian freaking fake Jews. The very tops of the military order of them, though, they're all pretty big, like physically. So his dad was famous for establishing the first pirate.
Well, he was big. This guy who was found in the river was 6'4".
Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's just so anyway. Listen, they're bred with Homo erectus, so they're a little bit bigger than us. We're bred with Cro-Magnon man, who's way like more spiritually sound and like calmer. So that's why they're all these bloodlines are tall. You look at Newsom, Trump, all these guys are like 6'3", 6'4", Biden. When you see their like little like fake Jew class that like serves them, the little pygmy ones, those are not. They're like the next two tiers down. Like you would have like those Khazars, which would on top of that their ancestors are the Hyksos, and then you have the Khazars, and then beneath them you would have the Ashkenazi, which some of them are a mix there. Would be both Khazars and Ashkenazi, and then underneath, that's very few of them though. And then you go out underneath that, is like the Sephardic and all these other ones that they're using like to control our society with. Well, I mean, they're the puppets that are presented to us as controlling our society, but a couple levels go above that. So usually like the top actors for them would be like like politicians or these like big, what would you call it? Like heads of CEOs of big corporations and stuff like that, and like owners of teams. I see like Mark Cuban's a fucking huge dude. He's like probably like 6'2", 6'3", but he's just all around big. Like his hands, like shake his hand, you're like, fuck, this guy should be playing in the NFL. His fingers are like as thick as two of my fingers put together, like they're sausages. So it's just like different type of genetic people. But yeah, I mean, I could if my neighbor stole shit from my house and had a new truck and was honking and waving at me, he would also be at the bottom of some body of water in that truck.
You know, if Sweet Lady wasn't in my life, I would have killed that neighbor. She really did keep me from killing that guy. I got to admit that guy didn't deserve to die. And if we lived in a world where there wasn't government everywhere interfering, I feel like that'd be, you help out your neighbor and he comes back and destroys your business and robs from your house. He deserves to be in the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, not only that, the neighborhood would do it. They wouldn't even make you do it. You know what I mean? Because they'd be like, "What?" You know, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
My mom did the same thing for me when I was still a teenager, and I was gonna put somebody in not even in the dirt. They were never gonna make it to the dirt. And she was like, "Don't, please," was crying and all this stuff. So I didn't. Probably, maybe, was the right thing, but you never know. Revenge is always a dish best served cold. And way after people have already forgotten about it anyway. They say, like, I forgot what nationality. They're like, 10 years is way too soon. They'll still think like expect it coming. You got to wait longer, What else? Let's see. So yeah, did that guy really even die? I mean, look at that name, Leif Eric Vinland. Come on, just another one of. What is the thing that makes up the faces again? You are not.
This person does not exist.com.
Yeah, exactly. They should have this name does not exist.com because they got more fake names than they got even of these fake people. It's crazy. There's no way that's the guy's name,
Well, I mean, that was his name that he went by. I was aware of who he was, and like I said, his sister. But yeah, it is just everything in the story, and then the comment from his brother that he last saw him at 4 a.m., and it just makes you wonder what's going on. Again, all I know is that the family was very wealthy, so.
Yeah. What else? Okay, so you talked about these rallies when you were first. I think that's a great idea, and it doesn't even have to be just the Trump rallies. It could be these freedom rally. I'll tell you what, when the lockdowns and stuff first started, the most traction I've ever gotten in public was being out in Orange County with the Fullerton Informer during those quote unquote freedom rallies, which were all controlled opposition and staged, but a bunch of people came out, regular people from the neighborhoods that don't know that it's controlled, and we were out there, he was they took it down, but he was live streaming, and I had a megaphone, he had a megaphone, and we were talking all kinds of shit to the cops and just, but I mean, there was all kinds of people who were just like, hundreds and hundreds of people were just like, hell yeah. Like after they hear you say like a paragraph or something, and then just, so I think that would be a great spot to go. And even to the ones on the communist Democrat side too. Why not? If it's like, I'm not saying plan a trip just for it, but if it's somewhere like within reach, shit, why not? That's the, like you said, those are the people that are at least a part of the way there. They're pissed about something, and they just they're fooled by the controlled opposition or the gatekeepers. Also, by the way, are you having two speakers next time? Did you already decide that?
I am planning to get another speaker. It's a lot to carry around, and if I'm going on a plane, it's another thing to check. But yeah, it could be helpful.
Another $500 backpack too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it all adds up. So.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to ask you. Did you ever figure out how to collapse that tripod that we couldn't collapse?
It was funny. The guy who came out to meet us at the end, who gave me a ride back to where my car was, he just like grabbed it and just pushed as hard as he could, and it finally went back down. I was like, okay, I thought it was going to break if we did that, but it did the trick. He just put a lot of force into it.
Did you ever open it up again since?
Yeah, it opens back up now. It was weird because I had never had problem closing except for that last night there. It was like it didn't want to get put away.
Yeah, we did everything but, like you said, forced it really hard because we don't want to break it.
Yeah, that's why he did it. It closed.
you may have already covered. What do you think about that photo that I sent you with those MLB guys with the big gold tridents?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I need to look into that more. So.
You want to put that up just so people can see it?
Well, I got it on my phone. I don't have it on the computer.
Oh, okay. Well, all I did was Google search MLB players holding trident, and that's the first thing that popped up, and I was like, I wonder if Zach covered this. I'm like, I think he did, but let me just send him that. That guy. What was that guy? Defined Lion, or what was his? The caller.
Divine Lion, yeah.
Divine Lion, yeah. I think maybe that's one thing I'll go into one time. That's one of my specialties: the origins of Black people, where they come from, and if Babylon really stands for baby lion, and what that all entails, and I think that would be a good one. This week you talked about this lady who killed her kids or something?
I was just talking about, I remember when I was a child in church, there was a woman who killed her children, and they had some special meeting that we went in on a weekday, and everyone was debating about what they thought, should be done with this woman, and vague memory from my childhood, so.
Do you remember what the names of the kids were?
I'd have to go back and look. I just know I was around age 7 when it happened.
You remember what the name of the survivor kid was?
No, I don't. I just remember the mom killing her children.
So one kid survived. His name is Kobe, and their last name is Ryan. So it's Kobe Ryan, like Kobe Bryant. So they're telling us right there in that fake story that Kobe Bryant's not really dead. And time. You were talking about that ritual, how it was connected to Saturn, and Saturn is time, which is Kronos, and Kronos is the the Titan who eats his own young, who kills his own children, and then you have that story. You know what I mean? It's just like so obvious. And then you already mentioned, I think, the movie Air that they're coming out with about making the shoe, the Jordan shoe, and all that.
That movie's out. I actually took the time to watch it because I was watching it specifically to see if they'd mentioned Dan Whiten since we knew him and I'd covered his death recently, and sure enough, they bring him up right at the beginning of the movie.
A Jewish guy, of course. And then you were talking about like Krzyzewski's not Polish; he's Jewish too. Just like Trotsky, Krzyzewski, a lot of these skis allegedly from Poland. That's why they had a lot of concentration camps in Poland too, because or actually I think they were mostly in Poland. They just had a few infamous ones in Germany. But a lot of these like fake Jews are in Poland, Germany, obviously Italy and France. And then speaking of these fake Jewish guys, Zelensky. Has anybody noticed that all the politicians in the world that he's met with already, they're all in suits? Zelensky's always in either like camo pants or like dark green pants or like khaki colored pants, and he's always got either a short sleeve shirt that's either dark green or a little bit lighter green, or the military brown, or or he's got like a track jacket on. And it's that same colors. Like, what's up with that? Why is he always in like some type of like fatigues or whatever you call those when they're just like cruising around the base? Like that's all he ever wears no matter what. Even if he's like speaking at the White House, like you can't put a suit on. It just, I don't know. That's all. It's been kind of weird to me. I've just not once, not once.
Sure.
Oh, you were talking about something about like how we have like the 12 hours in the day and the 12 hours in the night. What was that whole theme? I just have that written down, but I can't remember what you were talking about.
Just 12 in time and how it's put on the calendar and the clock.
Like 12 months and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything's like 12. So when the sun, first comes up, then it's the newborn son, or like Horus, or baby Jesus or whatever, and then so then Horus moves through the sky in 12 steps, and then alcoholics have a 12-step program, and we have a 12-step program through our school system. So yeah, they're just like, it's like the they're getting us in a cadence with everything, with with the sun. You know, it's the sun cult, so we have to be in cadence with the sun. You were talking about something also on the dollar bill. I have back of dollar bill written down, but I can't remember what the heck you were saying about it. But if you can't remember, this is what I wanted to throw in there. I think it was you were saying there were 13s usually, because that's what we talk about when we talk about back of the dollar bill, how a bunch of 13s. Have you ever talked about the 9 feathers on the back of the eagle? The tail feather?
I don't think I've ever talked about the 9 feathers. What do you got with that?
You know how that's the only thing on the back with 9?
I never really observed. I know there's the 13s all over the place, but okay, there's a 9. So
Pull up a photo of it, and then I'll go into it a little bit more. So when a bird is flying, what steers the bird? Yeah, and same thing with the boat. You know, on a boat on the Holy See. You know, how do you steer a boat? It's the same way that a bird steers.
Okay.
It's from the back. You know,
sure.
It's steered with the tail feather or with the rudder, right?
Right.
So that determines the direction. So like if that's the Nazi eagle / the American eagle. You know, and if it's determining where America's going, it's going to be determined by the tail feather. So originally the Knights Templar were founded by nine knights, you know, and I guess, you know, the original Templars that were positive. I probably need to do a little bit more research on this again, because it's a little bit cloudy. It's been probably 10 years since I looked into it, but there's some connection there with the King Arthur, and you know that King Arthur bloodline is supposed to be the Merovingian bloodline of Jesus, you know, allegedly. So there were like, you know, the Knights of the Round Table, or was the Algonquin Round Table or something like that, and it was 9. And then same thing with Freemasonry. It got started with 9 original. I forgot what they were called. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it now. So, you know, like all these, I think, you know, started positive and then were taken over, killed off, or whatever it was. And just like how, you know, the Templars were supposedly all murdered. So how are the Templars still running the show then right now? You know what I'm saying? So the only way we could look at that is who the Templars were taken out, and then other people assumed their persona and their name, just like the same thing with like the Illuminati name, and then now they're the ones like steering the show, you know, or steering America, like, you know, from the tail feather. I had a couple more things that I didn't write down that I wanted to say. I should have said them right away, because now I just cannot remember at all. Well, you know what? Let's finish off then by, this is something I've had written down forever, and I just keep forgetting to ask, and I forgot to ask when you were here in LA. I still want to hear the story about the foot race with the state trooper over shrooms.
Yeah, it was funny. My mom ended up stealing that batch of shrooms from my house because my sister said to do it. But yeah, somebody showed me a really great mushroom patch, and for us, we were living in Seattle. It was a bit of a drive. You had to drive down to Tacoma and then take the bridge out like you were going up to the peninsula. And just a little ways past the bridge, after you go through Tacoma up towards the peninsula, there was an exit. And again, imagine the highway and an exit. And the area between the highway and exit, there was like just a patch of shrubs. And if you went inside, again, imagine the area between the highway and the off-ramp, so all that shrubbery and bush. If you went through the shrubs, there was an open area right in the middle, and it was just loaded with mushrooms, and lots of magic mushrooms in there. If you ever pick magic mushrooms, you gotta be careful, because they'll grow next to ones that look very similar but aren't the right ones, and you could identify them because they were more orange. They didn't have any bluing in the stem. But also just right in that same off-ramp area, right before you went through the shrubs, if you were just hanging out outside the shrubs, you'd be between the highway and the off-ramp, and people would be able to see you as they drove by. And even in that area outside the shrubs, the mushrooms grew. And I was with my buddy, the same guy who showed me the spot. We'd go there year after year. And there were just so many growing that one year on the outside of the shrubs. And as we were leaving out, he's like, let's grab some of these shrooms out here real quick too. And I was like, we already got plenty, man. We don't want to get spotted out here. Because, I mean, it's illegal technically to cross the ramp and be out there. And, I mean, there's signs everywhere, no trespassing and all this. And anyway, while he's grabbing some more mushrooms, because again, if you go inside the shrubbery area, no one can see you inside there where all these mushrooms are. But on the outside, that's what you can be seen. So we're on the outside part of the shrubbery where the cars are passing by, and sure enough, here comes the state trooper, and he's on the his little intercom thing, barking at us to stop what we're doing and wait there. And my buddy immediately just starts running. And so I was like, well,
Your friend starts running, or the trooper?
The state trooper hadn't pulled over yet. The state trooper was pulling up on his intercom, yelling at us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then my buddy just starts running, and I was like, well, I guess now I'm running too. So anyway, but what's funny is where we'd even get into the area to cross from, like, where the fast food restaurants are. All along that section, there's a chain link fence and a whole bunch of blackberry bushes. And there's one spot that's ripped out on the fence, and that's always where we would go through just to even get to the crossing point to go into that little section between the freeway and off-ramp. But it was funny. Normally when you're going through those bushes and getting through that, you're taking your time so you're not tearing your clothes and scratching yourself up. But my buddy just flew right through there. I just did the same thing right behind him, and the state trooper wasn't as determined as we were to just fly through the blackberry bushes. I remember my jacket got shredded, but I did maintain the mushroom load, and it was a lot of hard work to bring home the mushrooms. And then the next thing I knew, my mom wanted to come visit me, and I couldn't figure out where any of my mushrooms went. And then finally my mom said, your sister told me to come up and visit you just to get the mushrooms. So I was like, wow, so you came up here just to steal my mushrooms. Okay. So anyway, that was the story.
So he didn't actually get into a foot race chasing you guys?
Well, he did get out of his car and he was coming, but he just was not as motivated to run through the bushes like we did. And behind there was woods, and we went back in the woods, and we noticed the cop. He came and he drove and circled around in there trying to see if we'd come out of the woods, but again, we evaded any punishment, but our clothes did get a little bit torn up. So
that's awesome. That's probably one of the greatest stories ever told on TFR.
I don't know about that, but I think that was the very last time that I went and picked mushrooms too. So anyway,
why is it illegal to pick mushrooms? It's not illegal. It's only if it's on restricted land, right?
It's illegal to possess psilocybin mushrooms. So.
Oh, really? In Washington, it's illegal to possess them?
Unless the laws have changed. I know in recent years they're legalizing I know Oregon temporarily made it like maybe they decriminalized it, but yeah, most of the places in the nation it's illegal to have psilocybin mushrooms.
But your mom's asking if she's Norwegian. Why is she so short? Because she's actually really Norwegian. These Vikings that came through there, they're not Norwegian. They're pirates that just took over your people. If they interbred with some of you and you guys came out like half Goyim or whatever, you may have gotten some of their genetics. But they're usually, then they'll use you for whatever. But usually the ones that they push to the higher ranks are, usually mom and dad are both from their lineage, I mean, you got, like, when you think about, like a guy like, for instance, like Justin Trudeau or something, his dad is Fidel Castro, another Jewish guy. You look at him, he looks totally like a fake Jewish guy. And then his mom, is like white fake Jew, like European fake Jew, who, they were, I forgot who his claim dad who she was married to was, but, yeah. So they're, most of these guys, even though they look like they're halves or whatever, no, they're actually full, fake Jew. Like Trump is full fake Jew. Don't be fooled. You know what I'm saying? So is Newsom. That's a straight Jewish name. That's not even if you think Trump's not a fake Jewish name, it actually comes from England. But if you look at those families that came over, and took over England, he comes from royalty. I think him and I forgot if it's the Clintons or somebody or the Rockefellers, they go back to like 16th century Duke of Wiltshire or something. That's like their common relative. But those were, that British royalty was all like, not Nazi fake Jews, Saxe Coburg Gotha and, stuff like that. There's no, Tudor or Windsor or any of that stuff is gone a long time ago, just like the Russian one when they took out the Romanovs and all that, and that whole psyop. Anyway, great story. Thanks for finally telling me the story.
Sure. My mom's in the chat saying she didn't take the mushrooms. My mom, you guys, she'd go down as the worst liar of all time. The funny thing is, Mom, and I'm sure you've forgotten, but you confessed to taking the mushrooms, and then I came back to your house and got them. So, trust me, it was definitely you who took the mushrooms. But, anyway, yeah, mushrooms, they can definitely be a good thing. A lot of people could benefit from a nice, healthy dose of psilocybin. And it's another thing that could take people out of their slumber. I think ultimately, if psilocybin was used the right way, it could wake up humanity. So
yeah, I thought that, and like ayahuasca, that we should, like 10 years ago I was trying to say, hey, we should weaponize these things like as a good weapon to try to like wake these sheep up, like go to places that they are and figure out a way to aerosolize it. And you know what I mean, they're all just all of a sudden changing their tune about everything, their brain's starting to work. I'm like, how can we do, they do all this, like they aerosolize everything to weaponize against us, like chemtrails and the electromagnetic fields. How can we pull the same thing from the other side?
Yeah, indeed. All right, DK. Well, I appreciate it as always, man. Thanks for closing out the show.
All right, thanks for taking the call. Talk soon.
Yeah, have a good night.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah. When my mom was a child, one of her siblings, somebody burned down the family barn and all of her siblings blame her, but she says she didn't do it. But then I always see my mom like just saying things like, I didn't take the mushrooms. It's like, okay, I know you're getting older there and dementia might be seeping in, but I mean, seriously? You don't remember confessing to taking the mushrooms and blaming my sister for doing it? You said my sister told you to come up and take them? It was a big ordeal at the time, but I did reclaim the mushrooms, so... Anyway, yeah, all these things that have been labeled as bad, like my sister has no experience. She's never had any mushrooms, but she's heard they're bad. So they're bad because she's heard they're bad. Some people like that in this country have opinions about things that they have no experience with. I heard it was bad, so it's bad, even though I don't know anything about it myself. It's that religious mindset. Anyway. We'll leave it there for tonight, Truth Seeker. Thank you to everyone who hit the like and the share. And, yeah, we'll see what they got in store for us tomorrow. Till next time, everybody.